Would you believe someone was orphaned in less than 1 year old?
My parents died before I was 1, and my mom died first, and my father, I am told, decided to take us to the children's home. There were 4 of us.
Our guest this time is so exciting.
Like now we're many Wambuis.
Yes.
We're 5 Wambuis, by the way. So now they had to find a way of
distinguishing.
Okay, which Wambui, yeah. So they'd call me Wambui, my brother's name. And my brother's name is funny, it's called Gwashi actually.
Wambui Gwashi.
Okay. Shiro big, Shiro small, you know, I mean, and so on.
Yeah. Oh, so he took his own,
and then he went and took for this young
boy.
Man. Yes, this young boy.
Very
the young
unfair.
boy came and told me I'm the bigger sister. Wanyuike did not know
what hit him.
What hit him. I just timed when he was walking by, I sprang on him on the ground. And then those days, everybody would come around, healer,
and then they're cheering.
And I beat this boy up. And during, Parents' Day, everybody has their parents, and then you have this Muzungu, walking, coming, and everybody's like, is that your mom? I mean,
how
or
come
whatever.
You don't look like her?
And so on. So I started doing Form 2 mathematics when I was in Form 3.
Form 3.
By myself. You start, okay, because I needed to get the concepts, the principle, you understand? Yes. So that I can now build on, because now it can become Greek.
Yes.
Now at home, what do? Lights off at 8. So I go to the toilet, and then I start doing my, because I need to push a few hours. It was not practical.
Yes.
And there's a different mother in every house.
Yes.
So ours was Gadamba, and I remember her coming. Nani huyo anawasha taa? Uko, and then I'd switch off.
So they would check.
They would check. From 4 exams.
Yes.
I got a 3 in mathematics.
What?
Yes.
That was super. 3
I got a 3
maths.
In maths. I got a 3.
She is Wambui Mbesa, CEO Relational FS, a mentor and member of the Women on Boards Network, among many other things that she does. This is the executive table. My name is Mary Wamai. The guest I have will give us a lot of lessons on leadership, resilience, innovation, and many, many more. And guess what? She's a woman in STEM, science, mathematics, engineering, technology, you name it. Very, very exciting. I'm already so excited to have this conversation. Welcome, Wambui. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, and thanks for coming. Yeah. We are so glad to have you to share your journey, your lessons. We can't wait to hear the story. Karibu sana.
Asante.
So let's start.
Okay.
Where do we start? Where you were born?
Yes.
When you came to this world.
That could be a good question. I was born in Nairobi.
You are a city girl.
I'm a city girl.
Me, I'm a village girl.
You're a village girl. However, you will see my village also comes in. So I found myself before 1 year old at a children's home.
What happened?
My parents died before I was 1, and my mom died first, and my father, I am told, decided to take us to the children's home. There were 4 of us, as he probably prepares himself or, organizes himself now that his wife has died. I was 2 months old then. And it's a children's home on Waiyaki Way.
So how many? You are 4. So your siblings are sisters or brothers, and they were definitely older than you?
They were definitely older.
How old were they?
Yes. So my brother, I think he's now 60 what? He was like 8 years.
8 years.
And then there's a girl. She was around maybe 5.
5.
Then my brother, who I follow.
Yes.
I'm very close to. He was about 2.
2.
And then myself.
Now you're newborn.
Yes. So there's a children's home called Salvation Army. It's right on, from Waiyaki Way. You go to Musa Gitao Road and then Karabasirani Road. It's right there. And that's where we found ourselves. But 7 months later, he never came back. He had actually gotten an accident and also died.
Your dad? died also after 7 months.
After 7 months.
So you are total orphans at that point.
At that age.
Yes.
Yes.
So sorry.
Yeah, you know, that is life, and but here we are.
So you actually literally grew up in the orphanage.
Yes.
From that point forward.
Yes. Yes. I grew up in the orphanage, and I left the orphanage at 18 years when I went to the university.
Tell us, how was life in there with other kids and very difficult circumstances?
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit more from when you can remember.
Yeah.
Because you are still very young when you went in there.
Yes, I remember it all. It was actually, I think we got a good life. So the superintendent of the home, I still remember her, Major Dorothy R. Moss. You know, the Salvation Army.
Yeah, they have the structures.
Yes, the structures, you know, Major, Captain, Lieutenant, and so on. So she was called Dorothy R. Moss. She was a British. And actually, she left the home when I was just about to finish Form 4. So basically, my entire life,
she was there.
She was the one, you know,
who took care of you.
Who took care of us. We were about 96 children then.
That's many.
Yes, that's many.
Yeah.
But we had a good life. I mean, you know, they took us to school. We had good food and care. A lot of help from philanthropists. And I remember those days, it was a lot of whites and Asians.
Just
and they would come
coming
home.
in and giving donations.
Giving donations, ensuring we have everything we need. Yeah, and we played a lot of games. That's where I learned how to ride bicycles. You know.
Wow.
So it was a good life.
So what you'd say is that other than missing the normal comforts of a home and a family setting, in terms of basic provisions, food, clothing, schooling, health facilities, you are well taken care of at that point.
Yes, absolutely, well taken care of. So what would happen is the nursery school was at the home.
Yes.
And then after you hit age 6, you know, and you could touch your ear, because it was those days.
Yeah, you had to touch your ear.
Yes, was sent off to school. Now, where the home is,
yes,
it's right in the near Kangemi. And then on the other side, there's a small village called Waroko. And then in the outer, you know, peripheries, there's Kawangware and Gatina. So the schools we went to, we had to be distributed. So like I went to a school called Bernard State Primary School. You know, you cross, you know, there's a river, you cross, and then you go like you're going to Lavington. And then my brothers, for example, went to Lavington. Lavington Primary School.
Yes.
And then others went to Kangemi Primary, and so on, Kehumbu Primary.
So you are evenly distributed all over. Yes.
You leave in the morning.
Yes.
Those who are a bit near, like myself, would come home for lunch and then go back.
Okay.
And then those who are a bit further, like Lavington Primary, they'd pack lunch and then come in the evening.
Yes.
So that's how we did our primary.
Okay. Okay.
So for me, Bernard Estate, it's now called Mudhangari Primary School.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just near the Mudhangari police station. Just
I think I've seen it somewhere.
Yes, and we'd walk and go back home.
Okay.
And then if you did well,
yes,
you go to your chosen high school.
So like any other student in a normal home.
In a normal home.
Yeah.
Yes. So the difference obviously was the eating times, you know, the bell in the morning.
There's a program.
It's a program.
Yes.
Bell in the morning, you have your breakfast. At lunchtime, a bell. 5 o'clock, dinner. 8 p.m., lights off. You go to bed.
Now, I'm just curious, Wambui, because when I was growing up, I had my mom, and she was the disciplinarian. Yes. And I got my fair share of the beatings when I needed to. So how did that go in the home? So like, how did the discipline, how are values instilled? And just tell us a little bit more about it, because the mom is not there, the dad is not there.
Yeah. So we had structures, and they were very serious structures. But this is a Christian home, because it's by the Salvation Army.
Yes.
So the first thing that they instilled on all of us was the the Bible, the love for God,
the Christian
yes,
values
the Christian
and faith.
values. So every Sunday, for example, would have 2 services in the morning, in the evening, and sometimes at 4 p.m. they would take us to Kariakor for a Salvation Army service. And then during the week, you know, there are the prayers and so on. Now, so that was the Christian, you know, value.
Yes.
Then now we had under the Dorothy R. Moss, the captain of the home,
yes,
actually major of the home, we had fathers and mothers. So we were distributed in the houses, and that's why it's like a village.
Yes.
So in houses where you have like 12 to 15 people per house.
And someone is in charge
somebody
of the
is in
discipline,
charge.
the order.
Yes, the discipline,
that.
the order. And then there was a gentleman called Peter Mutunga. May God rest his soul in peace. He passed away. He was like now the disciplinarian.
Disciplinary master.
Master.
Yes.
Kiboko zilikuwa huko.
Okay.
You know, I mean, and yeah, and it's amazing how they used to deal with us. I mean, you know, if you break a rule,
yeah,
you're called, you either reason or there's a kiboko. I mean, everything. Even Major Moss used to give us kiboko.
Yes.
That Muzungu lady, you know, but but she loved us.
Okay. Well, I guess they did it out of love anyway.
Yes, yes.
By that time, we used to think the haters.
I know. Yeah, it was out of love.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, there are other challenges here and there in the sense that we like now we're many Wambuis.
Yes.
We're 5 Wambuis, by the way. So now they had to find a way of
distinguishing.
Okay, which Wambui, yeah. So they'd call me Wambui, my brother's name. And my brother's name is funny. It's called Kwashe, actually.
Wambui Kwashe. Okay.
Shiro big, Shiro small, you know, I mean, and so on.
Yeah, just to distinguish which
but
one.
Basically, in order to really bring order, they gave us numbers. So me, I was number 23.
Number 23.
Yeah, yeah.
So when number 23 is called, you jump up.
You jump up. All my things were number 23. Everything was 23, yeah.
Instead of a name.
Instead of a name, yes. Okay. That then made it, you know, the mechanical bit then comes in.
Yes.
And then struggles of, okay, am I a number, am I a person? But anyway, you know, it had to be that way.
So did you struggle with identity at any point in time, especially those early years as now you start understanding, getting a bit more knowledgeable, you're growing up, who am I, where do I belong? So just tell us how you handled that.
Yeah, actually, identity, I struggled with it when I was preteen, you know, and getting into high school. In primary, it was, you know, I mean, you really don't understand. You know, you're
still too young.
Yeah, but you're too young and, you know, you're very occupied with so many other things.
Yes.
But yes, in the later years, I did struggle.
Okay,
as I grew older. And one of the things that really distinguished me, and it's so funny, is I was a bit aggressive.
In what sense?
If you provoke me, I would punch you.
What? Physically?
Physically.
Wow, I should not joke.
So this is, when people see me now, they're like, what?
Is that you?
Yes, is it you? And I remember, you know Nyayo milk?
Yes.
So we'd go to Bernard Estate, which is, you know, and would get the milk that used to come from Nyayo, you know, the Nyayo milk. And one of the ladies who used to be in charge of us, she was called Mama Anna.
Maybe you need to explain what Nyayo milk is, because I've just remembered there are some of us here who have no clue what Nyayo milk is as we took. Just explain.
Yeah, Nyayo milk was, so the late President Moi had this program where all schools, primary schools, and I think primary public schools were getting milk every day in school.
All the school children.
All the school children in Kenya.
It was what, twice a week?
Yeah, I think it was twice or 3 times a week or something.
Twice or 3 times a week.
And they would pack them in nice little Tetra packs.
Yes.
Like this. And they would come and drop them. And so we had Nyayo milk
crates.
so that everybody is healthy and that was Nyayo milk. It was free milk.
Free primary school milk.
Yeah, milk, exactly. So what we would do, I mean, you see when Bernard Estate, so there's some people who would be like, you know, they don't want the milk. Because it was a combined, people from different social economic
Yes, yes.
You know, status.
Saw it differently.
Yeah, saw it differently.
Yeah.
Us, we would take all the milk.
Yeah, I mean, for some of the children, actually, that is where they got their nourishment.
Yes, yeah.
Because they will not get milk from
milk.
other sources.
Exactly.
But I guess if you are from a well-off family, then you're asking, what is this
What
now?
is this?
They would actually, it was brownish Tetra pack.
Yeah, brownish, yes.
Very beautiful pack, actually.
Yeah, so you see how the village and the city is connected.
Oh, yeah, I can see. We are dealing with the same issues.
Anyway, so we would get that extra milk that people have. Anyway, and we'd take it home to these ladies who used to look after us. They would also come and give them, there was extra milk.
Yes.
For them now to, these are, the
so
mamas
bring
of the
it
home.
to you.
Yeah, so when we get it, any extra would take. Anyway, so one time there was a young boy called Wanyoike. We're in the same class. I remember him, Wanyoike. And Wanyoike,
was he your age or?
He was my age. We're in the same class.
You were in the same class.
Yes.
Okay.
But he took milk from one of the boys from the children's home. He took his milk.
Oh, so he took his own,
and then he went and took
for this other
young
boy.
Man. Yes, this young boy.
Very
the young
unfair.
boy came and told me, I'm the bigger sister.
So and so has taken my milk.
So and so has taken my milk. Wanyoike did not know
what hit him.
I just timed when he was walking by, I sprang on him on the ground. And then those days, everybody would come around, healer,
and then they're cheering,
and I beat this boy up.
What?
Obviously, the teachers came and because they said he took, we used to call him boy, Charles. We took boy's milk. I was taken to the staff room and all that.
What's going on?
But luckily, I was also very bright. I used to be number one in class and so on. Top student. So now they had to find a way to deal with me. So they made me a prefect.
Oh, to instill discipline, to stop you from fighting.
Yeah. But that was not the end of the story. In the evening when I was going home.
The same day?
The same day. Wanyoike had regrouped a few people and they waited for me. So I'm going, home and all,
And you are walking?
Walking. I used to walk back to the children's home.
Yes.
Timed me at the river and he got his revenge,
Was he alone or he had this guy?
He had other people with him. Yes, other boys from Gatina. Them they were from Gatima village, Gatina. So we used to separate. Once we cross the river, go towards Kangemi, then they go to Gatina, Kawangware.
So he sorted you out?
He sorted me out and he had help. And I have to acknowledge, he was a bit of a coward because he had help. Me, I didn't have help. Anyway, so that was me those days.
No. Let me ask you. So, did you ever make peace with Wanyoike? Where the Bible tells us you need to always make peace. Even with your enemy.
We made peace. Once in a while, he would need my help. In mathematics or whatever. So we had to make peace.
Oh,
and
good.
I don't know where he is now, and our paths, went separate ways.
Okay.
But so I was just trying to, just address that. Sometimes there's something, eating you up, and the only way you know how to bring it out at that age is it was, for me, it was just.
That's the outlet for your
outlet for
anger,
maybe any anger or frustration,
bitterness or frustration.
Exactly. But
okay, but tell us, how did you overcome that? Because that time you were still quite young in primary school. So what did you have to do to overcome that urge to? I have to box you to get it out.
Yeah. So when I grew, as I was approaching teenage years and I got into high school, I sort of. Became a less aggressive, introverted, and I think I really let go when I became a Christian.
Okay.
Yes, around Form 4.
So you are more restrained.
I was more restrained, and something replaced the anger. Just God's peace and so on.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But by the time I was in standard 7, I was not.
You're not
just the younger days. Yes,
fighting.
I had.
You had calmed down.
I had calmed down,
and you are too busy studying for the exams.
I know. Yes.
Okay, now let's go to the academics. So you said earlier you are one of the top students.
Yes.
Just tell us about that. When did that start? Was that from day one, standard one, or did it progress over time? Tell us how the academic progress went.
Yeah. We were so fortunate. In my class at Barnard Estate, were 10 children from the children's home. So one class of, I don't know, 35 or whatever it was.
10 of you.
10 in my class from the home.
Yes.
You go to the next class, again, 5 from the home. You know, because we're many.
You're many.
We're many and we're all age mates.
Yes.
Number 1 to 10, almost always was somebody from the children's home. You understand, eh? And, and there's a reason for this. At the home, they would really work on our academics. So what they would do would have all these, you know, volunteers coming
to
help us with homework,
whatever.
Tutor.
Wow.
Our English was like the best. I mean, and especially, you can imagine, we are there in the children's home, and these are the kids are coming from Kangemi, Kawangware. Honestly, they didn't even have shoes. They used to come. We used to have shoes. So you are actually in a better position. We're in a better position, like you said, physically, and you know, our uniform, basics met, you know. Some children even used to wish they were in the children's home. Oh, yes, because of just having a good life. We were really taken care of. So so and especially when it came to English and speaking and so on, and writing and so on, were really good. Yes. So that pushed, you know, us, you know, to do well. So that's what I can attribute it to. But otherwise, we were playful like anyone else. Those days we didn't really have a lot of homework or anything, so I think also that helped. You just go home, you do your homework, and then which system did you do? Did you come into the 844 or the one before? No, the one before 844. I looked at it. It almost got me by 2 years or something. So you did the CPE? I did CPE. Yeah, CPE. So CPE was only 3 subjects. It was 3 subjects. So English, to your point, it was easy. It was English, just English, maths, English, and general paper. Yeah. Yes, and civics and all that. Exactly in there, and you're done. Even Kiswahili was not tested. Yeah. That's why irrelevant at that point. Absolutely. Okay. So how did it go with the CPE then, when the year came? So CPE I did well. I believe I got, what, 32 points? Wow, 32 was 32 good. Out of 36. Out of 36. I got 34. Oh, wow. Okay, there you go. 2 more than you. I know. You must have taken more Nyayo milk. Oh, 32. I took. Yeah. And that was good. I remember when we were going to do our CPE, the evening before, we were all called. We were many, like I told you, us we were 10. The day before the exam. Just the day before the exam. Yes. And Major Moss came with, you know, sweets and all that, and said, you know, tomorrow you're doing you know, your exams, major exam. Motivated us, you're going to do well, and give us, you know, sweets, and, you know, it was like a treat, you know. And to calm you down, to calm make us it down. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Wow. Of course, not everybody passed. Yes. You know, some of us did well. Yes. And the beauty with the home is, if you did well, you'd go to a good school. So I had people who went to Limuru Girls. I went to State House Girls. Yes. 2 of us went to State House. Somebody else went to Kenya High. You know. Oh, very top school. But at the same time, those who didn't do well, couldn't go to high school. It was a conveyor belt. So what now became of them? So they would go to now, we used to have a carpentry. Or the TVET. The TVET, but within the home. Within the home. Yeah, so they would do carpentry. Some of them are fantastic. Wood. Tailoring, up to now. I have people, you know, who are in the, you know, carpenters and all that, fantastic, doing a lot of good work from the home. Some of them went to, there was another Salvation Army unit in Kariakor where they'll train you to do housework and all that. So the home was a conveyor belt. There's no repeating or anything. They will place you with the employers. They place with the employers, you know. And because of the connections we had then, I remember somebody also even got a job with KLM as a cleaner, you know, once they were taught. So they really, this Major Moss really tried to settle people. But if you did well, they pushed you. Top schools. They pushed you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, that's how it... Okay, so State House Girls. How did it go? State House Girls. Now, I have to say one thing. Yes. You remember we used to choose schools to go to? Yes. My first choice was Kenya High. That was your dream school. My dream school. If I had 34, I'd probably... And you're a top student. Or 36. But 32 was good. Yeah, so I had 32. I was called to State House, which was also a beautiful school. It was good. It was a day school then. And still within Nairobi. It's still within Nairobi. It was a day school. So I had to leave the home every day, take a bus, Wayaki Way. That Wayaki Way, I know it like the back of my hand. All the way to
the university. Yeah.
Vic Preston, we used to be at petrol station up. Then I get off the bus.
Yes.
Walk all the way up through the university halls of Nairobi, and then to State House.
Yes.
In the evening, the same.
The same.
Come back, take a bus. Or I could also from State House, I could find my way to the Museum Hill and wait for a number 23. Or 22 or 21, and then come all the way. The ones who are going to Kangemi, then drop out at Nairobi School. You know, Nairobi School is just opposite.
Yes.
On Oyaki Way. Yeah. Drop out at Nairobi School and then come home and, yes. So every day for 4 years.
Wow.
That was my journey.
Yes.
I would carry lunch. So the
school used to allow day scholars?
Yes, yes. No, the school would allow us to go to day schools.
Okay.
It was home.
Yeah.
Oh, State House?
No, I'm saying, some schools will not allow you to study from home. They are boarding schools only.
Yes, yes.
So State House girls
was
were
a
both?
Day, no, it was not both. It was a day school. Yes, in fact, we're the ones who raised the money for the dormitories to be built. But we never enjoyed. Yes, that was 84. I left in 84.
So it became a boarding school
in 85,
later.
Yes, and that's where it changed its name from State House Road Girls High School to State House Girls. They removed the road.
The road.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I get it.
So it was a day school. Everybody was a day scholar. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything interesting happened there? Any sports? Any extracurricular? Any? What did you do other than, school. Of course, the tough ones?
Yeah. So many things. State House shaped me into what I am today. So the headmistress, the late Mrs. Gikonyo, she was really wonderful and she really inspired me. I cannot tell a story without telling about her.
What she did.
State House was interesting in the sense that one, I became a prefect. Which was a shock to me.
Why? So you're already a prefect in Banners.
That was Banadeste. That was,
to contain you.
Yeah? That was contain me.
Yeah.
Now, when you reach, Form 1 and 2, Form 3, then they decide who. And it was a big deal.
So they choose.
To be a prefect. They choose. So the teachers used to choose. It's not democratized like today. I think today
they vote.
You campaign and you vote.
Yes.
And the teachers were looking for certain qualities. And I remember the day they were calling now. The prefects are,
so and so,
and Wambui Samuel. Oh, by the way, I was called Wambui Samuel then.
This is another so you are now not Wambui Ngwashi?
No, I'm not Wambui Ngwashi. So, at the children's home, it was Major Moss.
Yes.
Taking all these names from her. So I don't know what happened. And most of us had these English names.
Yes.
So my dad was Samuel Kihuha.
So they take your dad's first
Mary,
name.
So they take your dad's first name.
Samuel.
Because probably in Britain or whatever.
Yeah.
So you find Wanjiro Peter, Wambui Samuel, and that became my name. And that was an identity crisis for me. I really tried to shake off the Samuel because everybody would ask me, now, why are you called Wambui Samuel? And now, you can't explain,
Yes. So
actually,
see,
these days I write it, you can't...
like today, if it was today and it's an email or a phone, I haven't seen you, and we are talking, and then eventually now it's time to do the face-to-face. I'll be expecting to see someone in a different kind of skin.
Exactly. Oh, Miss Samuel.
And oh, Miss Samuel. Miss Samuel. You're like, I was expecting something else. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. That kind of crisis.
Yes.
You're feeling like this is not really me.
This is not really me.
Yeah.
And during, Parents' Day, everybody has their parents, and then you have this Muzungu, walking, coming, and everybody's like, is that your mom? I mean,
how
or
come
whatever.
you don't look like her?
And so on. So those are the crises I was telling you I went through.
I can imagine.
But back to the prefect thing. So we're in the assembly, and it's the whole school. Remember, in your prefect, you wear a different jersey, a different,
and ties,
and they're calling people,
badges.
and then they say Wambui somewhere. I'm even looking behind to see whether they're calling someone.
It's someone
else. Prefect, and everybody's like, it's you,
It's you.
And then you go and. So And so that was Mrs. Gikonyo, during her era. I was very sporty because at the home we had a lot of sports. Like I was very good in table tennis, so it's one of the things I picked up.
Yeah, yeah.
And so even in the school I would play table tennis and all that.
Yes.
And I remember, winning here and there. And then when I was in Form 4, I won the Nairobi, schools and so on. And now, I was supposed to go and represent the school in Mombasa, the nationals.
In table tennis?
In table tennis.
Wow.
And I said, I'm not going.
You refused?
I'm not going because I have to study. I have to study, I can't go. Mrs. Gikonyo calls me to her office and she tells me, Wambui, you can do this, you can do both. Because she understood where I was, my background. And she asked me, why don't you want to go? I said, no, I have to study.
Too much work.
There's a lot of work I have to study. And at the children's home, lights used to go off at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah, so, you really don't have much time in the evening. So I don't want to waste, time going. Anyway, and she told me, Wambui, you can do this. You can have both. I believe in you and you can do this. And she really encouraged me. And I went to represent the school.
Yes.
And guess what? I became the champion.
What?
National
and you were
champion
refusing?
That year. I was refusing. I became the
wow.
national champion. The other highlight of State House is, I used to do cross country and so on. And music.
Yes.
I also did a lot of music.
Instrumental.
Instruments. Yeah, I play the guitar. I was very good at the recorder.
Yeah.
So there's the many highlights. In that sense.
Wow.
One thing I really wanted was when I go to Form 5 and 6, I wanted it to be Kenya High. But I had one big problem.
Yes.
The problem was I was not doing well in mathematics. So now I'm talking about the other side of my being in State House. And I remember Mrs. Arao. Mrs. Arao was our mathematics teacher. And she was like, you cannot go to Kenya High unless you have a 6 and below in mathematics. Do you remember? Yeah. Number 1, if you get a 1
was the best.
9 you failed.
Was the worst.
Me, I was now there.
Now
7,
you are around 7.
6,
7 was not good.
7 was not. I wouldn't go. You remember how? Yeah. So you had to pass in English and math. I think you had to get 6 and below and so on. But I had a problem at home. We would have to sleep at 8 and so on. So I had to now devise a strategy. I'm realizing this in Form 3.
1 year to go.
1 year to go. So I decided I'm going to revisit my syllabus in Form 2. So I went and I asked for a Form 2 textbook.
Yes.
Mary, I started doing Form 2 mathematics when I was in Form 3.
In Form 3.
By myself. You start, because I needed to get the concepts, the principle, you understand? Yes. So that I can now build on, because now it had become Greek.
Yes.
In Form 3.
Yes. You are feeling like you are stuck now.
I'm
you are
stuck now,
at 7.
and I want to go to Kenya High. I can't go, even if I do. I was doing well in the other subjects, but I was not very, happy with the sciences somehow.
Wow.
So I went back. Now at home, what do? Lights off at 8. So I go to the toilet. And then I start doing my, because I need to push a few hours. It was not practical.
Yes.
And I remember this time it was Kathamba. Kathamba was one of the ladies. Now, I had moved from you graduate every year. From when you're 0 to 8 years, you're in a certain house. Then when you become older, you go to another house, and there's a different mother in every house.
Yes.
So ours was Kathamba, and I remember her coming. Nani huyo anawasha taa? Uko, and then I'd switch off.
So they would check.
They would check, and I pretend, I'm going, and then you come back. Those are the. Did you know when we did Form 4 exams?
Yes.
I got a 3 in mathematics.
What?
Yes.
That was super. 3
I got a 3
maths.
in maths. I got a 3. So
the efforts paid off.
Yes, the efforts paid off.
The efforts paid off.
And I really had this desire, because 2 of my older sisters from the home had gone to Kenya High and were really speaking very highly about it. So I said, I must go. Wow. Anyway, so That's my life in Kenya High. I mean, in State House.
And the overall mark, what did you get in the now this is the Kenya Certificate of Education, as we used to call it that time.
Yes.
What was the overall performance?
My overall performance, we used to measure it in, how are we measuring it?
It was Division 1.
I got a Division 1.
Points.
Yes, I got a...
And the lower the points, the better.
The better, yes. The lower the points, the better.
Yeah. Gosh, it was all the marks you've got in the various subjects.
Yes, and then the top six, together. The top 6, I think, they would add them together. 6 was
the best you could get.
Yeah, 6 was the best.
Division 1 of 6 points.
Yes. I got a Division 1.
Yeah, that was top.
But it was not 6. It was somewhere, it was double digit.
Yeah, anything
maybe whatever.
Up to I think 20 was a Division 1.
Yes, Division 1.
Yeah.
So I got a Division 1 and I was called to Kenya High.
Wow, your dream school.
My dream school.
Okay, now guys, your dreams can come true if you work for them and if you know what you want. The executive table with me, Mary Wamai. We continue with our guest today, Wambui Mbesa. Thanks for watching. Let's hear what happens next. Now, Wambui.
Yes.
You have gone to your dream school, the Kenya, I hear it's called the Kenya High School.
Kenya High School.
How did that go? How did it feel when you stepped into that school?
First of all, I was not able to go.
No way.
Yes, we.
Now you are disappointing us. What happened?
By the time I was finishing Form 4, Major Moss had left the home. And we had a new superintendent. She was called Major Miller. And by the time Major Miller came, she actually informed me that this is a very expensive school, and unfortunately, I'm not able to go.
No.
Yes, even to go and get the results. I mean, I had actually walked all the way from the home. You cross the same river, you go Lavington, behind, go to Kenya High. Went, looked, and said, my name was there.
In the admission.
In the admission list, they had it right outside the door. I remember I went with my sister Shiro from the home. And just as I was looking at the results, Mrs. Wanjohi came out. Mrs. Wanjohi was the headmistress of Kenya High School. And she was there, you have been called here. Okay, welcome, well done, and so on. And I came to the home and I told Major Miller, I've been called to Kenya High. I'm sorry, Wambui, you cannot go. It's too expensive.
We can't afford it.
We cannot afford it. We have 96 children to take care of or whatever, and so on. So I was very disappointed. But in a few weeks, that whole thing turned around and I was able to go.
Tell us what happened. What changed?
I told you at the beginning how we had all these philanthropists that used to come to the home to bring, food, help, and so on. So early in 85, the Chandaria family visited the home.
Wow.
And when they visited the home, we had the whole program, and at the end of it, somebody had to give a vote of thanks. And, Major Miller asked, okay, who's going to give a vote of thanks? And, the usual thing in homes, normally everybody's shy, nobody wants to do anything. Then something nudged me in my heart.
Raise your hand.
So I raised my hand. Okay, Wambui, come and give a vote of thanks. And I went in front, said on behalf of all the children, thank you very much, and so on and so forth. When I finished, and I was now going to sit down, Chandaria called me. And I remember very well, your English is really good. So what are you doing? I said, that was my cue, by the way. I've been called to Kenya High. I cannot go. It is too expensive, and so on and so forth. Do you know, the following day, Chandaria brought a car to pick me.
What?
I was taken to shop, got a uniform, everything. And the same car, I call it a limousine, but it was just a car for me, because I had to sit back, left.
You sat back left.
Back left.
For the first time?
For the first time. Taken to, we bought the uniforms, everything I needed. I was dropped at Kenya High. And I was told, the only thing we need from you is the grades. Every end of term, you bring your report card. If you've done well, we'll pay the fees. I took advantage of an opportunity that was given without knowing, because just something that, let me just do this, and I put up my hand. That's how I went to Kenya High.
So Wambui, what you're telling me is, when we tell people to raise their hand, it does work.
It does work.
It does work.
It does work.
So you really get someone who supports your education for the next 2 years.
Yes.
No questions asked. Just do your business.
Do your business.
Deliver academic performance.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Amazing.
God
And this is so many years later. I'm so grateful to the Chandaria Foundation and the Chandaria family. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, yes. They say the door of opportunity swings on the hinges of obstacles,
Yes.
It's an obstacle,
That's true.
but it's also an opportunity.
An opportunity.
That's how I went to school.
Yeah, but you see, I also like saying that, some people would say you are lucky. But I would just say that it's the opportunity came and found you ready.
Exactly.
I'm ready with my grades.
Yes.
And I'm ready with my admission letter to the Kenya High School.
Absolutely.
And then Chandaria comes and
Chandaria
says,
comes.
Here is a scholarship.
Yeah.
Go.
Go.
And you go.
Yes.
And you work.
Yes.
Wow, amazing.
That's how I went to Boma.
Wow. Tell us about Boma. How was that life at Boma for 2 years?
In Boma, it was a very interesting time of my life. First of all, I met a very strong headmistress, Wabuz. If you know about Wabuz, she was, I'll never forget up to now. Every day we'd have our assembly, and she always used to come. Girls, Proverbs 34, 33 to 34. A little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will come to you like a thief and want like an armed gun. Every day. I'm telling you up to now, by the way, even when I was asleep, I hear Mrs. Wanjohis. For me, that was it. A little slumber, a little sleep, and so
poverty comes
in like a thief. Yes. and guess what? I was there because I'm running away from poverty. So it was very, for me, her words and what I needed to hear actually connected.
Wow.
I worked hard. The second thing in Boma was the networks I now created. Do you know, I was in school with children of ministers. You're coming down casually from the halls of residence, and then you're meeting so-and-so with the minister so-and-so. I will not, let me not really mention the names, but yeah. And, hi, how are you? And you get to interact. And for me, by the way, my life was never the same just because of the connections I made.
You made that.
And the profile also of the people I met. At Kenya High, I was also made a blue rag. I became a prefect.
Again?
Again.
You are prefect material.
I'm telling you. And even those days, it was teachers who used to choose. And I remember our deputy head girl was actually your friend, Caroline Osero.
She was the deputy,
and
you were one of her prefects.
I was one of the prefects, yes. So I was in charge of Sagana House. So you have a house, and it was a big privilege to be a prefect. Seriously, you had real power. I got my own cubicle. Everybody else was sharing. Would have, tea and bread in the evenings, because we needed to meet and discuss school matters, You're there, supervising everybody. It was amazing.
And discuss who is misbehaving.
And discuss who's misbehaving, how we're going to improve this. Exactly. At Kenya High, I was taught also etiquette. You know, you sit on a table. By the way, those days, I keep telling everybody, we used to eat very well. You know, pudding, pineapple upside down.
What's that?
Yes. Uh-oh. Kenya High, I mean, the food was really good. Sausages, eggs, your laundry, especially sheets and all that, you just remove, washing machine, they're done. But even at the table, the way you're seated, you know, this is where the fork goes, the knife, you know, they taught us everything. So Kenya High did me well. And you have to wait for everybody to be served. Mm-hmm. And then now you eat. In this same Kenya High, some people were also, oh, this pineapple upside down, you know, because, you know, maybe they've seen it before. Me, I hadn't seen it as such.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed myself. And I added quite a few kilos. But anyway.
It was good for you. You know now, at this point, I cannot connect Wambui, that one coming from the children's home.
Yeah.
And now the Wambui who is here now, dining with the top cream.
Yes.
I mean, children of the top who is who.
Exactly.
In the country and the region, I imagine. Wow, that's amazing.
So Kenya High was good. And I'm really grateful to Wanjohi and all my, you know, we have an alumni. We're connected up to now. We help each other, and we're in each other's lives.
There must be something that the head teachers saw in you, or the teachers saw in you. Why did they make you prefects? You are prefect in the home. You are prefect in Bernard, you're prefect in State House. You are prefect without asking or lobbying for it. It comes as a surprise. So would you like to tell us, in your own view, your own opinion, what do you think all those teachers saw in you to give you that position of leadership at various levels? At that point in time, when you're still so young, what did they see in you?
Yeah, I want to believe, first of all, just the discipline. Because from the home, that had been instilled in us. You know, I'll tell you something. When the boys used to misbehave a lot in the home, now I'm talking about the boys in the home, and now you can imagine they're teenagers and all that. Do you know who they used to bring? Mr. Shaw. Do you remember Mr. Shaw?
Yeah, he was. I remember the tall, big guy.
Yes, and he used to also have some role in Starehe Boys.
Yes.
They would bring him there to talk and, you know, ensure. So discipline was instilled in us in every way.
Yes.
And you can see also we had, you know, a program. It's not like a home where a normal home. Probably, you know, the bells are not ringing and so on. So we had a schedule. And that, up to now, is something that, you know, you can imagine at home you have a schedule, at school you have a schedule. So discipline and so on. And I think also the hard work and, you know, now maintaining top marks as well. Yeah, that stood out. So, and that's what you need. Discipline,
so you
thinking.
Distinguish yourself in one way, because a leader needs to come out above everybody else, and that's what you did, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Let me ask you another question. As you are going to school, whether it's Bernard Estate or State House or Kenya High, did you at any one time feel, you know, that sense of, why me? Why are other kids having parents, and the parents are coming to see them with the, you know, goodies and all that, and, you know, that sense of love, and me, I don't have. I mean, okay, I have my Mrs. Dorothy, but did you get those feelings, and how did you deal with them?
Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes, and that started in State House actually. But then continued. Now in State House, I was not in boarding because I'd go every day to the home. Now in Kenya High, I'm in boarding. And obviously, you know, parents are visiting, you know, their children. There's no one to visit. Remember, Dorothy R. Moss left, and now it is Major Miller.
Yes.
And very different style of dealing and so on. Yeah, so obviously you do feel that, but you know what? There's something called friendships. And I made very good friends.
Yes.
And they would actually be like, oh, Wambui, we've been visited, come, you know? And the parents would embrace me and you know, and I used to feel like I'm visited because I had very good friends, and when they're visited, we all go and
you're part
sit
of
with
the
the family and all that, So friendships are very important. And up to now, some of those parents are still my friends.
Wow.
My son just got married 2 weeks ago. One of the parents of a friend in Kenya High who lives out of the country came for the wedding.
Wow.
Because I became family. Came for the wedding, you know, as Shosho now.
Yes.
You know, and so on.
Yeah.
So yes, there is that feeling of, oh, you know, once in a while, why? But for me, I decided to ride on the friendships and accept the extension of love from others. And that helped.
You know, the Socratic principles teach us that sometimes we don't have control over what happens to us.
True.
But we definitely, as individuals, have control over how we react
Absolutely.
to those circumstances.
Yeah.
So for you, you said, okay, it is what it is. Here I am, no parents and all that, but I mean, I'll behave in a way that I'm likable and I'm attractive to those parents of my friends and my friends also.
Yes.
And I become part of the family.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens. People embraced you.
Absolutely.
Because of that.
Yeah. I'm very relational as well.
Yeah.
I remember one time coming from Sagana. I mean, I was the head of Sagana, and I was coming, you know, down, and then the late Minister Robert Ouko was down there, and her children happened to be in Sagana, Naivasha, either Sagana or Naivasha, there were two. And I remember him, for whatever reason, calling me. I mean, this was not sharing with, you know, the children or anything. It was not visiting day. I can't remember why he was there. And we had a very good conversation, you know.
Just like that.
And you know, without knowing even my story and everything, oh boy, okay, good to meet you, continue working hard. Thank you for looking after, you know, our children, because now I'm the blue rag, so they know I'm the prefect.
Yes.
And so those moments were there. And
yes.
And you're right. You just need to use whatever you have as a stepping stone. And you become
turn around your circumstances.
Turn around your circumstances.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I suspect, and I highly, that you pass very well in the KACE.
Yes,
that's Kenya Advanced
Certificate of Education.
That is how we used to call that exam. And it used to be 3 subjects.
3 subjects and then
one
subsidiary, yes.
How did that go?
You get either AAA and a 1
and a subsidiary.
And a subsidiary.
So what did you get?
Oh, Mary, that story is an interesting one. So I was a stellar performer, and I continued to do well. And I remember the mock exam. I did very well. I got 17 points. This is the mock.
Wow.
And you know what 17 means? You've almost got an AAA or maybe like a A minus somewhere.
Very strong.
Very strong.
Yes.
Because if you do the 3 plus 1, you'd get 19, isn't it?
Yes. Actually, 18 was the top mark.
Yeah.
But if you are doing an extra subject, then you get 19.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but I thought the 1 was for the general paper.
Or for the general paper.
So do 18 plus 1, 19 would be the highest.
The top mark.
Top mark.
17 was good.
17 was very good. I could do anything. I wanted to do law, by the way. So some of you went ahead of me. One day I'll do law.
Wow.
However, when the results came, I was devastated.
Don't tell me.
Yes. I had 12 points.
No.
Yes.
Not a boy.
Yes. I had 12 points.
What happened?
I don't know what happened, but I believe that God knew Because I wouldn't be where I am today if that was not the path I took. You know, sometimes we feel that we know what is best for us.
For yourself.
Yes. And then results come and you're devastated and you think it's the end of your life. But imagine it's not. Whatever lemons you're given, you better make lemonade out of it.
Yes.
So, a few things happened. I said no. First of all, I made a mistake. When we were selecting the, you know, what we wanted to do, you remember they used to bring us and you select 4 options.
For university.
For university.
Yes.
Option 1, I put law. Then you're supposed to be clever. Option 2, you put whatever. Option 3, 4. Me, I put law because I knew I was going to do law. And then I put option 2, 3, and whatever, education, education, education. I mean, I just, honestly, I don't know why I did that. So I did not hedge properly.
Do you know why? It's because you knew
was
these things.
so
I
sure.
want to die even need number 2, number 3, number 4.
Yes.
So see, mine is law.
Exactly.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was mistake number 1 because probably I could have, because I really wanted to go to Nairobi University, to be honest. The Nairobi University.
Yes.
The second thing I did, I went to the home and I said, I want to repeat. There's no way I'm going to do education. I want to do law. So I want to repeat. Remember what I told you about the conveyor belt?
Yes.
I was told this is a conveyor belt. There are no second chances here, you know, because if you repeat, you're taking resources that could be somebody else. And of course, I reasoned with myself. I said, okay, I can't repeat. So what do? I was called to Kenyatta University.
Your education now.
Education, which I chose myself.
So
my friends who didn't get law, they got other things that, you know. But anyway, yes.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was called to Kenyatta University, and I went to Kenyatta University, where I studied. I was called to do Bachelor of Education.
Yes.
And I majored in, normally you major in subjects when you're doing education. So I majored in economics and business studies.
And business studies. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Maybe something else I should say about, you know, that time. You know, I had also just become a Christian also. So my faith was very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know God has a wonderful plan for me.
So when did that happen? In Kenya High?
No, in State House now. In State House. Yes, in State House.
Okay.
Just before, you know, I was telling you, you know, I was trying to explain, you know, probably the changes I've had, and one of them is because of the strong Christian faith. So even now, and I was reminded by many of my friends, you know, God has a good plan for you. And sometimes you don't understand
what that plan is.
What that plan is.
Yeah.
So you walk just by faith. Okay, this is what you have. And the superintendent at the home was telling me, in fact, you're so lucky. You've been called to university. What is this thing you're saying? These marks are good enough for university that you want to repeat. So I had to understand this was my reality, and now, you know, embrace it and live with it, yes. But it turned out to be the best, actually, plan for my life.
So tell us about that. Why do you think it was, so you got your bachelor's?
Yes, so I got my bachelor's
in education from Kenyatta University.
From Kenyatta University.
Although you haven't reached your dream.
Although it was not my dream.
The University of Nairobi, LLB, Bachelor of Laws.
Bachelor of Laws.
So tell us how it went.
Yeah. So let me tell you the first day I went to university. Now, from the children's home, once you step into college, they're done with you. So
you are on your own.
You're on your own. So Captain Rewa, that time she was the one in charge of the home because Major Miller had left. And I went back and folded all my, you know, blankets, everything. Wambui, now this is not your room. Somebody else has, so you're now on your, you know, it's a whole ceremony. You're being told, you know.
No.
Yes.
I thought you only meant no fees, no what. Are you telling me
no.
Even physical accommodation?
Yes, physical accommodation.
Nothing.
Nothing. You're going now, you are at the university, you have, you know, they'll take care of you. You have boom, you have whatever. Just go and sort yourself. Yeah, we've done our job.
Bye.
Kwaheri. Drove me all the way to Kenyatta University. I did my admission process, and that is it.
They are done with you.
They are done. So, so I'm at the university. Now I'm on my own. I have to think, what do I do during holidays? Thank God we had Boom. Boom was not bad. I remember when we went in, I think it was 6,000 Kenya shillings.
That was a lot of money.
And I remember we used to get tissue and so on.
Yeah.
I remember we used to eat very well at
in the mess, yeah.
In the mess.
The kitchens,
yeah. The kitchen. We had chapo, chicken, everything. Ice cream even.
Yeah, and jelly.
And jelly.
I love jelly.
So it was not bad. Me, I knew I was, I was gonna, thrive here. And we were there with a lot of other people, even from Kenya High. And I made many other friends, and I started my academic journey. One of the interesting things, and I know this one will make you laugh. When I was in year 2, my friend, Connie Wango, came and told Wambui now, as we need a hall representative. We need to represent, the student, female student,
like
whatever.
a student union or something.
Yes, actually it was student union, and those days were campaigns. I was like, I'm not sure I want to do this. Anyway, do you know I campaigned against even the people who were ahead of me, and I was elected to be a student leader.
I can see trouble.
At the university, yes. I got my own room in Ruenzori. That's a hall of residence.
There are benefits.
Yeah, there are benefits. Would go once in a while. I never attended any of the riots, by the way, or anything like that. But, I just did my thing. Wow. So that was amazing. This is now elections. All the others I was being identified, but probably they knew my potential. And because I was, with them even in Kenya High and all.
Yes.
I became a student leader.
Wow.
Yes. But anyway, that's...
so you had a lot of conversations, some nice, some tough,
yes.
With the administration.
With the administration, if there are complaints, you try. During my time, there was not much drama. There were 2 or so riots and so on, which quiet. I never, it was quiet. So, I went through it, Anyway, but that's beside the point. I'm just going along
I have
this
a question
leadership.
For you. Did you plan a trip to the State House? Now the real State House.
The real, no, we didn't. Not as a student leader, but as a Gatondo Association of what, those days we had all those.
Yeah, and they were location-based.
And they were location-based.
Some of them.
Yes. And I remember the MP of Gatondo then gave me a gig together with a colleague to go and find out why the schools in Gatondo are not doing very well. And we were paid for that job, yes. And we wrote a whole report.
Your first consultancy?
My first consultancy.
Wow.
He was like, okay, we need to find out. By the way, why Gatondo? My mom comes from Gatondo, was born in Gatondo. Yes. So I identified myself with Gatondo Association of Student, whatever, as my place. So we'd go and see, this gentleman would come, even Moi, of course, would come to our school and all that. To the university. And that time, we're all, why, how can we help the region where we come from? And then he says, we need to find out why the schools are not doing well. Me and a gentleman called Kimemia, we raised our hands and said, we're going to do this. So we went, visited all the schools, found out why they're not doing, the girls are dropping out, did a report. And, got some little shillings in our pocket.
Do you know whether the MP read the report?
I don't know. I don't know, but the schools, especially now, and this was in the 80s, I'm talking about now 87, 88, 89, there was a real big problem in our region.
Within the region.
Pregnancies, schools were not doing very well.
Dropping out.
Yeah. We did a really good job because we visited a lot of schools, identified, documented, and gave recommendations of what we think. Good. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was Kenyatta University. So while at Kenyatta University, in 1990, we now had to go for teaching practice.
Yes.
Because you need to go and do one term before you can graduate.
So that's in the third year now?
That is in the third year.
In the third year.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So university was 3 years.
Where
then.
did you go?
So I went to a school called Senior Chief Koinange.
I've heard about it.
Yes, a good school.
In Limuru?
Banana, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so in Kembo. And, you know, it was a good stint. I got very good teachers. I now was ready for the trade.
Oh, nice.
1990 graduated.
So you graduated?
Yes.
1990.
1990.
Same as me.
Same as you, yes.
Only I was in the University of Nairobi.
I know, we are twins somehow.
I know. But quick question.
Yes.
Did you go to the National Youth Service?
Yes.
How was that?
I did. Oh my goodness. National Youth Service. And if I'm not wrong, I believe we were probably the last people. So during our time is when we had what we call double intake.
The double intake.
The double
yes.
intake.
We were in the double intake.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you finished in 86, you went to National Youth Service after you've done one term in university.
Yeah, we went after our first term.
Yes, we went to university first term.
Yes.
Understood all the benefits.
Yes.
And then went to, and that, I don't know whether that was a mistake.
No, that's how it happened, because the other group
had to always go before joining.
Yeah,
before joining.
Yes.
But now we became at least maybe not me personally, but they said we became kichwangumu because we have already tested the university.
Campus life.
Campus
we
life.
were spoiled.
We were spoiled. And I don't know, that's what I'm saying, I don't know whether it was a good decision for them to take us. But National Youth Service was so interesting. We did a lot of things that I didn't understand. Carry stones down. Leo mpeleke mawe huko juu. And then you would carry stones, and then in the evening, okay, bring the stones down the hill. But for me, the highlight was this one. You're in the barracks. And before you could enter the barracks, I know that you remember, check left, right. Tafadhali madam niingie. Even if there is no madam,
there is no one inside.
But the way they threatened us, even when you don't find anyone, because if you enter, you know, and if you looked around and there was no one and you didn't say it, and then wewe kuja, you know. So that was very funny. I remember we had to wash the dorms.
Yes.
You bring the cups, you pour water, and then you clean the dorms.
Yeah.
And I remember our uniforms had to be straight. So we used to take a camber, you know, and make sure, you know how you had to put your uniform, your cap.
And shine the boots.
And shine the boots. And we had these iron boxes with charcoal. We had to go with charcoal iron boxes. And would even pass it on the shoes so that it in a shine and for you. Yeah. But I remember when we were practicing for parade pass out, and but then we became very fit.
Yes.
And I remember, who was it who came? Because we used to practice and would join the men and would practice, you know, I mean, now you're marching and all that because we're preparing for pass out.
Justice Miller came.
It was Justice Miller who came.
Who was the CJ at that time?
Yes, CJ, yes.
The Chief Justice.
Yeah. Now, during the practices, they would bring all these top guys to come and just inspect how we are. And I remember my battalion, or whatever we used to call it, you know, so we're all standing in rows, you know, and hey, we have all these jembes or whatever we're carrying. And then I had an announcement, Nani yule analeta report. So what they could see was, you know, we're wearing the whatever and the shining, you know, we had the kofiyas and then the shining whatever on the
badge.
The badge. And it was me who was moving, and I was actually about to faint. And then somebody, you know, the askaris would be like, anguka kiaskari, you know? And I'm like, anguka kiaskari means you fall like a soldier.
Straight.
Yes, fall straight.
With dignity.
I just fainted, yeah. I don't know that I hadn't eaten. But anyway, many memories from
you know, the same happened to me, same
really?
time. So me, when I was falling, the last words I had when I was said I could hear was, wewe kufa, tutajua kwenu. Kufa. Kuruti, kufa.
Kuruti, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. But another thing, I also used to play table tennis when I was at, somebody discovered I could play, I don't know, yes. And they would come and I would play table tennis with some of the corporals or the guys who are,
You are teaching them.
Oh, they were also equally good, and they wanted, yes, Nice. So that was interesting.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and still when I was at, the NYS, I had to also leave because my grandfather died and I had to ask permission to go bury and come back.
Yeah.
So interesting times, but
but do you feel that program instilled a discipline of another kind, and maybe resilience or what?
Hey.
Tough times.
Yeah.
That's great.
When we were there, we used to complain a lot. But hindsight is normally 20/20 vision.
Yes.
First of all, physically we became fit.
Very fit.
And let me tell you, that fitness up to today, by the way, I continue with, I'm very...
Some of the routines.
Yes, some of the routines. Not the time, because the time, we used to wake up at 4 in the morning. And
for 5BX.
Yeah, for 5BX. But even when I went to teach and so on, I would wake up, I went to Mombasa, we'll talk about that, and I would really swim, I jog, even after I got my babies and, get out, jog, and so on. So a lot of that discipline followed me.
You carried it through.
But the fact that we made it through NYS, there's another resilience that you get. I remember going in, food was like, God, you're thinking, I'm not going to eat this. After a few days, you know what, it becomes...
You're too hungry.
You're too hungry, you eat and so on. You can overcome anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
It taught us a lot of resilience, I guess.
Yes, it did.
Now you've graduated.
Yes.
Tell us, what did you do with your education? I imagine you became a teacher somewhere.
Yes, I did.
Tell us about it. Where, when?
So I graduated and I got a letter. Those days we used to get letters.
Yes.
And I got a letter to go to teach at Likoni Secondary School in Mombasa. Yes, in Mombasa.
That's far.
It's far, but not far for me. One of the things I didn't tell you about the children's home is Major Moss used to organize for us to go every year to Mombasa for holidays.
Hey, you're living well.
I'm telling you, we lived well. We'd go to Starehe Boys Center, and I mentioned show in that whole story, so you can see there was a connection. Actually, a few of the brothers I grew up with ended up in Starehe for their high school. So there was that connection. So we'd go to Starehe Boys Center or Likoni School for the Blind.
Yes.
Both of them were very near the ocean and so on. Every year, Mary, without fail.
Wow.
So long as Major Moss was there, we would get in an OTC bus. They would bring a bus. We all get in. We are taken. So Mombasa, I loved Mombasa. So I left. I got, my brother gave me a suitcase. My big brother, Guashi. Suitcase. And I remember what touched me. He gave me his stove. Okay, Naoko, you have to cook. And got onto a train. I remember my boyfriend escorting me. Now my husband, by the way.
To Mombasa?
To the train station.
Or to the station?
Yes. And a relative. And and I went, those days the train would take long, But yes, and I went to Likoni, and I went to Mombasa. Now, getting to Mombasa, the question is, where do I go? Where do I start? The Salvation Army has another children's home in Mombasa. They have Vipingo there. And I really tried to see where can I be hosted. I couldn't find a place. So we've come full circle. I had to go and knock
at the Salvation Army home.
At the home. And the lady who are now the superintendents there is the same lady who took me to university. Now she was at this other children's home.
Yes.
And now she is the superintendent on the other side. And she told me, no, boy, come. Just come. Sorry, I'm at the children's home, but come. And I really struggled with that. Okay, Then I said, what do I do? Let me go, I organize myself, and then I'll see how to get away from there. So that was my landing spot. Reached there, went, okay. Now I was not with the children. She invited me to stay in her house.
Ah, okay.
In her house.
Okay.
And I went and reported to Likoni Secondary, and I started commuting for a little while from the home. It was a walking distance. Actually, you just go cross the ferry. So we're on this side of the ferry, Likoni, then you cross the ferry, and then you just walk. It was not so far, Likoni, and the school was there. That's how I ended up in Likoni. Interesting enough, the Teacher Service Commission did not pay us for 4 months.
How do you survive?
Oh my goodness. And every time you ask, no, you know, I think they had these mainframes, you know, the big mainframes, you know. So they're saying they're still capturing the data. They're still capturing the data. Can you imagine? So it's crazy. I mean, how everybody used to survive. Now me, I'm learning these things. You know, you work, and month one, the other teachers tell you, hey, even for us, it was like that. You know? Vumilia. But in the first week at Likoni, in the staff room, I made friends with one lady called Freshia Wambui. No, Freshia, she was not Wambui, Freshia Wanjiro. And Freshia, I told her, Freshia, I don't have a place. Please allow me to come in, stay with you. She was just a stone throw away from the wherever, from the school. Stay with you. I cannot pay because I don't have money. But when my salary comes, I will refund. Freshia was gracious, and she says, come, come and stay with me. She had two bedrooms. Now, those Swahili houses, it was a Swahili house. One of the, you know, they build their houses. You get in, and then on this side and this side, one main entrance, this side and this side, their houses. Then right at the end, bathrooms that are shared by everybody. And so you get into a house, it's got 2 rooms and a sitting room. And she gave me 1 room.
One of the bedrooms.
One of the bedrooms. And that's how I started. After 4 months, so she paid all the utilities, everything. After 4 months, I get the money from TSC, a lot of money, 12,000 shillings for working for 4 months. 3,000 a month after they've deducted the taxes.
Yes.
So that was my journey.
And you paid back Freshia?
Oh yeah, I paid back Freshia. Eventually she left, she got married, went back to Moranga. I took over the house.
Okay.
And I started living there
now
by
it's
myself.
Your house.
It's now my house.
Okay.
And we continued.
So what were you teaching at Likoni?
So I was teaching business studies, so accounting, you know, a bit of economics and so on. It was a good school. So, but now you have to survive because this money is not a lot.
3,000 Wambui, that time was quite some good money.
Okay.
Kwani, how much did bread used to cost?
When I got 3,000, when I got the 12,000, apart from paying all this, now Freshia was just about that time. She was about to leave.
Yeah.
I had to get a table, my own table. I had to get a bed. I had to get, you know.
And that time, the rent is like how much? The rent for this 2-bedroom house?
I don't recall. It wasn't, you know, that much, but maybe in the hundreds. I'm trying to remember. Honestly,
it must have been maybe something like 400 or 500.
Yeah, it was.
Likely.
Yeah, it was probably in the hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was. Yeah, we struggled. I learned you know, this kadogo economy that we talk about today.
Yes.
We had to do it then. You buy, you know, 2 eggs. Sometimes you're buying half bread. Not sometimes. Actually, they used to. You go, nipatie tafadhali mimi leo nimkate nusu. Nyinyi watu wa bara, nakatia nusu. You know?
Life goes on.
Life goes on. It was good. Life goes on. Yeah. Absolutely.
I can't wait now to hear. Now you've become a teacher, and I'm waiting to know whether you became a head mistress or a principal, but I know you did not become.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did things change for you from teaching to something else?
Yeah. So this is very interesting. So This was in 1990, when March or something like that, when I reported to the school. Now, in between school, even when I was in high school in Kenya High, we used to go to a Christian camp. It was run by the Word of Life. Word of Life is a youth ministry that reaches out to the youth through camps. So you go to camp, they have a facility in Ukunda, Diani, and they have another facility in Kabete. Up to now, youth, young people go there. So that became my holiday go-to. You remember in university what to do with your holidays?
Yes.
I used to volunteer there.
Wow.
Because I started going in Kenya High. And it's interesting because I couldn't afford. So I was told, okay, there's still got to be an exchange. So can you memorize like 50 verses of the Bible? So I'm like, okay, yes, I can. Okay, if you memorize 50, you come and tell us the 50, that's your, then they pay for you to go to camp. That's how I used to go to camp. So anything can be currency, including
your knowledge,
yes,
what you know.
What you know. And what I did, instead of memorizing maybe many different verses, I'd go and take a whole book, like Psalm 103. It has many verses. So when you say all the, from the beginning to the end, you've already done your whatever. Then Psalm 23, it has already 6.
The Lord is my shepherd. That one I can do.
Exactly, And, anyway, so connecting this to your question. So I'm here, so that's what I used to do during university. Holidays, I'm volunteering throughout the holiday. We go back to college, I'm back. Word of Life, Ukunda, wanted to start a school, a primary school, to reach the students of the parents who work in the South Coast. The whole South Coast, Diani Beach,
the hotels,
Leisure Beach, all that. There was no school at all there.
Yes.
And the director of Word of Life approached me and told me, Wambui, we want to start a school. You have an education degree. Why don't you come and start this school for us?
What?
That's what I'm telling you, it was not a mistake for me to go to KU to do education. What? And right there, I knew this was my purpose. This was the reason.
God brought me to Likoni.
Yes, to Likoni. To cut the long story short, I resigned. Now, I have an uncle of mine who I told him I'm resigning. How do you resign from a government job? Yes. Permanent and pensionable. You've just started, but I'd only taught for 1.5 years. I'm just a young 20-something-year-old.
He's telling you, you must be crazy.
So he asked me, where are you going? I said, Word of Life.
What?
You mean Kenya Wildlife? Because he couldn't.
He's trying to make sense of it.
Make sense. I mean, I can't go, no, this is Word of Life. And by the way, the salary is not guaranteed because it's a mission.
It's a startup.
Yeah, it's a startup and it's a mission, They depend on people giving from Germany and Canada and America.
He's thinking you are crazy.
He thought I was crazy. I resigned from TSC and I went to Ukunda. My education degree, we registered the school, recruited faculty, teachers, went to advertise for the school along the beach.
And you are 26?
I am 20. No, I was less. I was younger than 26, probably 24.
What?
Because this was in 1992.
Wow.
And recruit, and then now, where do we do the classes? There's no physical school. We've advertised, we said Form 1 and 2. We have bunkers, we have the dormitories where during camp, people sleep. That's where we started, Standard 1 and 2.
Those were the classrooms?
Those are the classrooms. Now, during the holidays, we'd have volunteers come, and then we construct the school across the road.
Now the classrooms proper.
If you know Diani very well,
yes.
In between all those hotels, there is a school there, Word of Life Christian Academy. That was you. It was me from scratch. Obviously reporting to Larry Loken, and there was a late Dansan Wambua, who was the director of that campus. Wow. But I was the first headmistress. So they would come, build. So now we transport the kids from here to the other side, and then every year, standard 1, standard 2. The school is doing very well. The school is doing very well. Up to tonight. This is 20-something years.
You actually became a headmistress
yes.
at 24.
At 24, 25.
I do envy you.
At 24, 25. And, Mary, that is where I learned so many things. They could not have, we could not employ an accountant or what. So I was everything. Can you see what I've done?
Yes.
I am the one who used to. By the way, my education was in what? Business studies and... so business studies, accounting and all that. I know accounting.
Yes.
I may not be CPA. So I'm the one who, as they're paying, your expenses for the school, the income that's coming, you're making sure the school is running, you're liaising with the Ministry of Education because a few things need to happen. You're meeting the parents and so on.
You are HR director, you are finance director, you are chief operations officer.
Yes,
Were you teaching also?
I was teaching.
You are the teacher?
From teaching high school, I had to come and teach. Now, we started standard 1 and 2 together. So the Mrs. Onsinyo, I recruited her. I told her, now you will teach standard 1. Let me teach this or that. Standard 2, because I'm not sure I have the skills.
For standard 1.
Because they're very young.
Babies.
Yes. And I remember not so long ago, a few years back, the doctors were rioting and so on. And I'm like, that's a missy. A young boy I taught when I was...
When you started the school, he was your student?
He was a student.
What?
Yeah, and I was so happy. So that's how I even started on this. The dots begin to connect.
Yes. So you started standard 1, standard 2?
Yes.
So it went on
so
and on.
So it went on. In 1994, this young man who escorted me proposes marriage. So now it's time to make a big decision.
Life-changing.
Life-changing decision. So I made the decision to leave and join him in Nairobi, and we got married. We got married.
You get married.
We get married.
Yes.
So sometimes...
So this is after how many years of the school?
We were just about to go to standard 3, yes.
Yes, the third year.
Standard 3, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I come to Nairobi.
Yes.
And, we have... we start life now.
Yeah.
But I am not... I tried to look for another school where I could, fit in Nairobi.
Yes.
But a few things happen here and there, and it just doesn't, work out.
But you had resigned from TSC already.
I had already resigned from TSC.
So now you can only be private.
Yes, I can only be private.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even want to go back. But let me make you laugh. After leaving TSC, they continued paying me for a few months. Why? Because they could not remove me from the
taxpayers' debt.
No. And let me tell you, I would go to Mombasa and then
to remind them.
Yeah, by the way,
I
left. You guys are still paying me, and this guy would look at me.
Why are you complaining?
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, no, I can't take this. I'm serious. It was haunting me. Yes, I told them no.
I don't want your money.
No, I don't want your money. So this little things of integrity and all that, I think it's a lifestyle. It's not something you decide. You have to just determine that, yes, this is not my thing.
Yes.
Please just have it. My sisters always laugh at me and tell me, do you know what you did? You just became a ghost worker. That person you used to talk to, I'm sure now they...
They knew how to do with the money.
Yes, because it was,
the money found its home.
Yeah, so late to be paid and late to be removed from the system.
Wow.
Anyway, so then we start a family. But now, how do I then transition to, my next assignment? I didn't want to go back to teaching, and I decided to go to Kenya Institute of Management to get some skills in, just management and all that. Remember, I have done now to run the school for 2 years and, gaps here and there. How do I beef up all these HR and so on? It was just a general course. In the process of doing that, There's an opportunity, I am told, at the Danish embassy.
Danish embassy.
Yes. And the opportunity was somebody has gone on maternity leave and they want an accountant to shikilia, not just an account assistant.
Temporary replacement.
Yeah, for 4
before
months.
they come back.
Yes. And I go for the interview.
Yes.
Of course, I'm like, but how? I'm a teacher. I'm sure there are people with CPA,
How
this
does
and
this
that.
fit in?
How will it fit in? But you know what? I'm not having let me just go. So I go, I meet this lady, a Danish lady. We do the interview. I know a bit of accounting because this is what I was teaching. I mean, you know, so.
And you are the accountant.
I was an accountant in the school. I have experience.
Practice.
You know, by the way, I did my CV.
Yeah.
And I put all that. I was doing accounting.
Yes.
Do you know I got the job?
What?
Yes. And I remember when I was doing the interview, you know, I mean, I could see people and all, but me, I'm there. That's what I had in my hand. I got the job.
Wow. You're a tough girl.
And those 4 months, I went and I found these guys are using a system. I had never used a system before. Even at university, I finished university we never used to have computers and all that.
It was all manual.
It was all manual.
Yeah.
Everything. So even as we were doing our accounting classes in Kenyatta University, it was debit, credit. You have this book, okay, you know, you understand. We used to use the books and everything was written.
Yes.
And I find automated accounting. They're using a system called Navision. Navision is a Danish product. And now I have to learn how to put
use it.
Yeah, and then you put your data and then whoop, it does for you your balance sheet, your everything. I mean, you just need to say this is a debit, this is a credit, everything else is done for you. And I was so amazed at what you can do with technology.
Technology.
Yeah.
And automation.
Automation. That's how my interest in technology started.
Wow.
Yes. Now, fast forward, I finished my 4 months. The ambassador at that time goes on leave, and there's an interim ambassador, so another Danish gentleman, Sten Larsen, who had his practice. It was called Project Assessment Services, and they used to assess projects that received Danida money. So everything is Danish. And he's the acting ambassador for a while. We hit a, rapport, we talk. After my 4 months, he says, you know what? I want you in my company.
Don't go.
Yeah, don't go. I want you in my company. So after I finish, I go and join now his company, Project Assessment Services, and we start assessing
the projects.
All the projects, how have they used money, Danida money, all the projects that have received money, and all these projects used to use one software. It was called Navision.
Navision.
The same Navision.
Wow.
After, that was in 1996, I get my son, my firstborn. My husband gets an opportunity to go and work in Uganda. He gets a job, and it was a diplomatic station. And this is a big decision for me, because I've just gotten a job.
And you have a young child.
I have a young, my son was like 2 months now.
Yeah.
And he's gotten a job out of the country. I've just gotten a job with Project Assessment Services. Oh my God. How do I transition? How do we do this? So, being the Christian I am, I went and told my husband, no, this is very good. We thank God for it. Can you go and survey the land? The way Moses went and surveyed the land.
On your own.
On your own. It was my way of
come and tell us.
Then come and tell us
it is.
How it is,
Whether the honey
whether the honey and whatever is there, whether they are giants.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for me to make the decision.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it was so interesting. I was miserable. He was miserable. 1 or 2 people talked to me, my good friends, up to now, all these years. And I said, you know what? Maybe I should just resign and join my husband for the sake of the family.
Yes.
So I resigned, and in 1997, packed my bags, and we all went and I joined my husband in Uganda.
Yes.
So in Uganda, I have one problem. I don't have a job.
Because you've just resigned.
So just resigned.
Your job in Kenya.
Yes.
Now you're in a strange
Now in a
country.
strange land.
Yeah.
My husband goes in the morning, comes back.
You have no friends?
I have no friends. Do you know, it reached a point, my husband would come home and he would find me in the same the same pajamas I was in and stockings in my head. Those days we used to wear stockings. I know that you wore stockings on your head. Yeah, ukienda kulala.
You haven't done anything
I haven't
or
done
gone
anything
anywhere?
Or gone anywhere.
The whole day?
Yes, I was beginning to get bitter, frustrated. Probably, you understand, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're not used to being
anything.
idle. You're
I'm not used to being idle.
Wow.
Yes. My husband was like, why don't you maybe start volunteering here and there, you know, as we look for something, you know, as we look for a job and so on and so forth. And that's what I started doing. Eventually found a place to volunteer here and there.
Just to keep your
my mind
occupied.
Yes, I had to do that. Otherwise, you can see slowly.
You deteriorate.
Yes, I was
your
deteriorating
mind.
even in my mind.
Yeah.
And that was a wake-up call because now he comes back, I'm still
same,
you know.
Looking so,
yes,
I mean, tired.
Tired and so on. Eventually, actually through my husband, and my husband is in technology, by the way. He's an IT.
It's a tech family.
It's a tech family. Him is technology, Damu, you know,
Wow.
techie from day one up to now. So he bumped into somebody who was working for a company called Calbro. And they had, just to cut the long story short, they had met already in Kenya. He's a Danish guy. And now he's meeting him on the streets of Kampala. And this guy was posted in Kampala to help run this company.
They had operations in Uganda.
In Uganda and Kenya.
Yes.
And guess what they were selling? Navision.
What? Your technology.
My technology, my little technology.
What?
And this gentleman tells my husband, by the way, we are looking for somebody to just teach, to train our customers.
How to use
How
it.
to use this, you know, and so on. My husband says, oh, I know the perfect person, my wife.
She has used that system.
She has used that
forever.
system. Then he comes home and overnight, now we sit down on a computer and he teaches me one or two or three things. You understand, eh?
Yes.
The following day I had an interview. Went, did the interview, and guess what?
You got the job.
I got the job.
So it's not even volunteering
It
now.
is not volunteering.
It's a real
now.
job.
It's a real job.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe things come when you're doing something.
Yes.
You're out there, you're doing something.
And looking
and
you're
so
prepared.
on. Yes. The stars begin to align.
Yes.
That's the same company that I ended up buying a few years down the road.
Wow.
But I can take you now through my journey on how did I then manage.
The conversation with Wambui Mbesa continues, and it is just getting hotter and hotter. Keep watching. Welcome back to the executive table. This is Mary Wamai, and our guest, Wambui Mbesa, is here. We continue with a very exciting conversation. Keep watching. Now, Wambui.
Yes.
Tell us about now, Navision has come back to your life.
Yes.
What went on now at Calbro?
Yes. So, at Calbro, my job was simple. I found programmers and developers who do not understand the language of the finance manager in the customer space. And so they needed somebody to help explain to the programmers what the finance guys are saying. And remember, I have my accounting knowledge.
So you are the bridge between the user,
and
the supplier, or
the developers in the supplier space, yes, at Calbro.
So that now they are speaking the same language.
So they're speaking the same language.
That's amazing.
This was an IT company
yes.
that was selling Navision, the accounting software. So I go in there and I'm the one who is, now that I know a bit of Navision, of course they give me a little bit more training, and then I'm the one going now to train the accountants. This is how Navision works, and so on and so forth. So without knowing, and this job description was not there before, I became a business analyst. I was doing the job of a business analyst.
That's a big title.
Yes. That I was just a trainer, but in essence, that was what I was doing. And the gaps that we had then, the developers were very introverted people who would just do development, and then the users are using the system, and there used to be no bridge between.
So users are frustrated.
Users are frustrated. Yes. So I found myself in this IT company doing this, and then when when it comes to taking requirements from the users, I'm the one helping. When it comes to training, I'm the one helping.
And then you communicate that to the developers. This is what the customer wants.
Exactly. Then I go to the developers, and now the customers started. I also started, I became like the customer care. I became like the salesperson, because I can go and do presentations to prospective customers on what Navision is all about. You see. But then when the customers are complaining to me that the programmers are taking very long to give them output, I go to the programmer and tell me, there's a bug in the system. Initially I used to wonder, what bug is it? An insect or what is it? I just didn't understand what the programmers were doing. So I went to Soren Larsen. Soren Larsen was the country manager for Calbro. It was a Danish company, so it was a multinational. So they had business everywhere. And I said, I need to go to school. This job you've given me, I love it, but I feel I'm ready to go to school. So I'm enrolling at Makerere University for a postgrad diploma in computer science.
Wow!
Can you sponsor me? And he said, oh, that is all you need. Okay, and he signed. And that was it.
Makerere, here we come.
Makerere, here we come.
Wow.
Now, the funny thing is, when the other employees were hearing that, hey, Munange, what do you mean? They've never done this to anybody. I'm saying, has anybody asked? Nobody had ever asked. I was the first person to ask. And they're like, what?
Wow.
And yeah, just like that, I went to Makerere University.
If you don't step forward, you remain in the same spot.
You remain in the same spot.
Guys,
yes.
Wambui asked, and she got.
And
That's so exciting.
Yes.
And others are now complaining.
And others are now wondering.
How come they don't give these things to us?
How come they don't give? I said, did you ask? Nobody has ever asked. They said they didn't know that you could, So this is how I get into computer science. And I go back to school.
Postgraduate
diploma in computer science.
Computer science.
Yes. I go to Makerere, wonderful. We do, the courses. They were tough. You find young men, and young women, especially men, I made friends with a lot of them because there are some subjects that are hard because I had to do programming, programming language, and of course everything else. It's not just about programming,
You had no IT background.
I had no IT background, apart from knowing how to use Excel and Word and so on.
And then you're Navision.
And then now, to use Navision, but knowing how it works in the background, I had no idea.
Had no clue.
Yes. The programming language in Navision is what we call C++. Anyway, so I go to school, and every little thing I'm learning, I'm applying. One time, the programmers, I call them programmers because we're all men. So instead of programming, this IT thing is a brotherhood. Although we've come a long way, but really male-dominated.
Yes.
And one time I come and they're like, yeah, I'm asking, why is, customer so-and-so really complaining? What's happening? It has a bug. I'm like, can you open the debugger? Now I know, they're like,
now you can engage.
Yeah, I can engage. Open the debugger. And we started debugging. And I'm saying, this syntax is wrong, now I am
speaking their language.
Do you know, the company started turning around. We are meeting customer expectations. We are meeting our deadlines. Companies start turning around. We are doing well.
The customer is happy.
The customer is happy. Now there are no stories. Even me now, I am confident.
Wow.
Because I have a competency.
And for Wambui, now she can speak the language of technology.
I can now speak the language of technology. I know about, project life cycle. I know, when you're doing when we're doing the postgraduate diploma in computer science, they open up, you're told this is a CPU. And then they open up. This is the motherboard. You're taking, you know everything. This is what networking means. This is what, you learn everything. So now I started mastering the language. I have the understanding, and now I can drive the business. Shortly after, Soren Larsen makes me the office manager.
Wow.
I'm elevated, and now I become I'm managing everything in the office, reporting reporting to him.
Because you have demonstrated now, you understand the business.
Yes.
You have gone out of your way to understand the technology.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
And everybody was shocked. Oh my God.
She came here just the other day.
She came here just the other day. I know.
How come?
I know.
They even sponsored her
I
for
know.
education.
For this, yes. Yeah. But honestly, I asked, I pushed, I studied, and that course was hard. Because I'm not a digital native. I never did computer science. So I'm a migrant, just like you.
Yeah, Wambui, we've had a lot of complaints or comments from a cross-section of our viewers. And a lot of them say that transitions are very hard and very difficult. And that is why a lot of us fear to take them. Because you could have said, Wambui, me, I have no idea how technology works. I cannot work in a tech company. Me, I'm finance. Me, I'm education. I want a job in education. But I think now what we know is that you decide to do the transition, overcome the fear, and then do the next step, which is what you did, a postgraduate diploma in
computer science,
to equip yourself to deal with a new challenge. The way it is required. And that is why you became very successful, I imagine. That's the lesson I've taken myself.
Yeah, that is good.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. So just to your point, you always have to learn and learn, relearn. That's how you do as you grow older, because...
And progress.
Yeah. And then everything connects. There's nothing that's ever wasted. Even if you, for example, do a degree that is not really what you wanted to do, but the system pushed you.
Yes.
You still learn principles in university or, in the course of, engaging in life that you draw from.
Yes.
If you look at my education degree, I didn't want to go. But look at what it did. It gave me an opportunity to start a school from scratch.
Yes.
It is the same one I'm actually using to do the Navision, because training. I did training.
Because you have the principles
of
teaching.
Teaching
others.
And also now, the core business is accounting. I have accounting knowledge. So everything connects.
Yes.
And nothing is ever wasted in life, nothing.
So you never know when the discipline or the whatever you are learning today, how you will use it productively tomorrow. So just keep learning. Learning.
Just keep learning.
Don't worry about where will I use this one.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say, how else? So now you are the office manager.
I'm the office manager.
I'm waiting for you to become the CEO now.
I'm the office manager.
Yeah.
Soren Larsen
is
recalled back to the boss. He's recalled back to Copenhagen.
The head office.
Guess who is left in charge to look after the business?
What?
Yours truly.
Wambui is the boss.
He's the boss of this now IT subsidiary of Calbro.
In
Uganda. So Calbro had business in Uganda, Tanzania. So we had Calbro Kenya, Calbro Uganda, Calbro Tanzania. Yeah. You see, my going to Uganda, although it looked temporarily like, what is this doing to my career? It actually accelerated my trajectory of rising through the ranks.
Your career in tech.
Yes.
So you are the boss now of Uganda.
I'm the boss of Uganda.
Country manager,
Uganda.
Hey, that's not a small title, Wambui. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And then fast forward in about a year or so, in 2001, Calbro decided to, they're folding up, they're leaving this.
The business in Uganda.
In Uganda, not just Uganda, the continent.
The whole of Africa.
Yeah, they were leaving. So apart from technology, you know, the tech space, they were also doing a lot of other consultancies in agriculture, in water. And they felt that the tech business was not giving them as much return as they would, you know, they had want based on the investment they were putting in. And so they were divesting. And so they put up the company for sale.
For sale.
Yes. This is a company, after Soren left, I've been running. In fact, initially, where, you know, you can't meet payroll, you're like, oh, could you, we don't have payroll for next month, could you send money? They send money. Eventually,
So they'll send from the head
they send
office.
the head office. Eventually, it was like, you know what? You
Enough
need
is
to,
enough.
yes, you need to, you know,
Be sustainable.
Be sustainable. So, you know, we had to really, you know. So by the time they were divesting, I had run the company for quite a while.
And was it sustainable by this time?
By this time, it was sustainable. We're trying.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Now, the question was, are we ready to be sold? I am running Kenya. My friend, a British gentleman, is running Uganda. I'm running Uganda. And my British friend is running Kenya. There's somebody running Tanzania. We're all sustaining the business. So we came together and we said, you know what? We're the managers of this company.
And
why don't we also buy it? We understand the business. We've run it. Even as we want to buy this company.
Skin in the game.
Yes, put our skin in the game. We had no money. I mean, I
but you are the CEO.
But I'm the CEO. And so on.
It's a big title without money.
You know, money to invest and buy such a business.
It's a lot.
Yes,
it's a lot.
And everybody's like, oh my God, how are you going to do this? Guys, everybody is putting, and I remember a company called K2. They were a competitor. Around the corner, another Danish company.
Yes.
They also put in their bid and all
to buy.
So now we are there. Everybody's like, where will these guys get money? And even us, we're like, where will I get money?
And you've already put in the bid?
No, we haven't. We don't even know how. We don't even know how it works. We're like, even us, we're interested.
It's just a thought.
Yeah, it's just a thought. In the process of thinking, we got a visitor who heard about our dilemma from somewhere.
Yes.
And they heard about us. I'll never forget this gentleman coming to my office, and I'm like, who is this? I was told so-and-so is here. They came. I brought them into my office. I'll never forget. They put their whatever on my...
On your table?
On my table. You know, and swung on the chair on the other side.
We are superior here.
I'm going to make you very rich. I've heard about this thing.
I can imagine. I'm already picturing the gentleman.
You know, swinging and
with lots and lots of cash.
No, but I was very impressed at that time. You know, this looks like the movies.
The guy is confident.
Of course, in my mind, I'm like, how did they hear about us? You know, I mean, it was a mystery, huh?
Yeah.
But they were buying other IT companies. They were very focused. And they had a lawyer, you know, a team of young lawyers in Kenya. And, you know, it was beginning to play like the movies. And I'm like, okay, this guy's going to make us rich. So, you know. Anyway, so we all discussed as the managers in the three companies, in the three countries. And we said, yeah, this is it. Let this guy help us do this management buyout. So now the managers were buying out the owner of the company from the business and taking the business.
Wow. Just explain. You know, now you are talking tech. What in my plain language does a management buyout mean? What is it? And what happens?
Yeah. So in this case, and generally, the managers of a business, the ones who've been running the day-to-day of a business, the employees of a business can actually decide to buy the stake of the owner of the business and completely buy him out or diminish his interest in the business or his investment in the business, let's say shareholding. But in our case, they wanted nothing to do with the business.
So it's 100%.
It was 100%. We were taking on the business. And we're taking the business all the assets and liabilities, everything.
As is.
As
Where
is.
is.
As
As
is
we
where
say in
is.
law.
Yes, okay, yes.
Okay.
And now, basically that is it.
So,
Of course, you pay the
shareholder.
the shareholder.
Mm-hmm.
But the amazing thing about this particular buyout is the person who was helping us, the one who was going to make us rich, landed in our offices and said, show me all the books for the last so many years.
So many years.
I need to study and my people need to study. So he brought a battalion of people to study the books and so on.
So a due diligence.
It was a due diligence, but eventually we realized, very smart. They actually rubbished the company. They said, you know what? This thing, look at all these liabilities. Da, 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 da. In fact, we are helping these guys to buy this. I mean, you understand? So
it's a problem we are taking away from them. We should not even be paying
and this
a
was all
cent.
part of the negotiations. I mean, I keep looking back in hindsight because we're like, okay, what are we going to do? Is it to offer them our redundancy money? Is it, you understand? We've said now we're buying this. And Mary, I learned one thing. If you want to do something like this,
Yes.
don't look at your pocket, because your pocket will always discourage you and tell you it is impossible.
It's never big enough.
Yes, it'll never be enough. You cannot do what you want to do. There are people with resources. There are people who've gone through this journey before. They've done buyouts like this.
So you think more about a collaboration
Yes.
or a partnership?
Collaboration
with
and
somebody
partnership.
who has the deep
Yes,
pockets.
deep pockets.
Yeah.
And also your own aspirations. I want to own a business. I will figure out the next stage, but have I made this commitment? Right now, this is a decision I've made.
Yes.
Then I will go out and look for who has
the
the
resources. And then plug
And
those
then,
ones
and
in.
then, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And just like that.
So the management team move from becoming only the managers of the business
Yes.
in a management buyout
Yes.
to becoming the
Owners of the business,
or the
shareholders,
shareholders
yes, and directors
of the business.
Yes.
Although in your case you continued running the
The
day-to-day business.
Yes.
So you are shareholders who are also managing
Yes.
the business.
Exactly.
That's how I understand it.
Absolutely, that's what it is.
Amazing.
So the only thing now we needed to do, of course, was to change the name of the company.
Yes, rebrand.
Rebrand. We had to explain to the employees what was happening.
Yes.
Just before that time, we had to let go. Calbro was not willing to take the heavy, we had to pay, the redundancy and all that for the employees and so on. So a lot of things are happening at the same time. Okay, we're only letting, this team remain behind, and so on and so forth.
So you restructured the business.
We restructured the business completely, and now I became the country director of. The company actually was Uganda Enterprise Solutions Limited, but also known Akili Africa. So we patented Akili Africa and registered
as a new
business.
Yeah.
And so we had Akili Africa Kenya, Akili Africa Uganda, Akili Africa Tanzania.
So you took
But
those
that
three
was
countries.
a trade name, yes. However, now I mean ideally. But now came the problem. What we thought...
It's looking so good.
It's looking so good. That's what I'm saying, we're naive. What we thought was now a nice thing, now those guys have left. Our helper, who we thought was doing all these things pro bono, they found a nice, young people and they're helping them. Came and said, okay, 50%
is mine.
Mine, you guys share.
50%.
Yeah. The proportions was, I think it was more of 60-40. I can't remember. It was definitely, we were the minority shareholders. He was. And we're like, huh? And he gave us a whole, can you see what I've done for you? We're like, all these lawyers who came, what do you think?
They were coming here for free?
For free. Blah, 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 blah.
What?
And now we need to, so I'm the shareholder, so let us have, these are the contracts, these are your targets. Of course, you're also a shareholder, but you also have your day-to-day running of
the executive role.
These are the targets.
Yes.
And so we started reading. So we're all panicked. What's going on? So you start reading now the contract. You know, and the contract was, you know, I'm doing the mathematics in my head. I'm like, very aggressive targets. And if you don't meet those targets every year, everything is being converted into, yes, the clawback
on the shareholding.
On the shareholding. And we all got our aha moment. My God, in 2 years, we're not going to own this company. This is all going to go.
Wambui. When the deal is too good,
think twice.
Think
exactly, twice. Exactly. The deal was too good.
It was too good to be true.
It was too good to be true. Mary.
What did you do now?
What? Now, we had a fantastic team in Kenya. We came together and we said, guys, have you seen what I saw? Now we're calling each other at midnight.
It's a crisis.
You know,
now.
It's a crisis.
Yes.
This company, we're not going to have it. There is no way. And we were actually had been told, now later on in hindsight, do you know that company, that was an IT company? It went that way. That other company, that's exactly what, same arrangement, same entity.
But people tell you these things after the event.
Yeah, after the event. So we said, no, we're not going to accept this. At a strategy meeting somewhere, you know, of course, he's part of the whatever, you know, we've changed, we've given a name, and then we just said, you know what, we cannot sign this. And then we got a lawyer, told him we're in trouble, please help us.
Figure out what to do.
Yes, figure out what to do. We went to a small, you know, a startup like yours, you know, when you started your own legal, studied the paperwork and told us, you know what, having studied the law firm, because now the lawyers are talking, and this one is saying these guys are not ceding anything. You never declared to us you know, this was your intention. So
from the word
go. From the word go and so on. You know, we never wrote anything anywhere.
It's
we
coming
didn't
at the tail end.
Minutes of the meetings. At the end, we had our lawyer told us, you know, these are the guys have staying power. You can be in court for 20 years. They are
settle. Patient.
Yeah, they're patient. Settle. We didn't have money. So settle. They, you know, so arbitration now, because now the courts will be too expensive.
Yes.
Arbitration, and we agreed on a payment plan of a certain sum of money.
Over time.
Over time. And if you miss any of that installment payment,
the deal
is off. I'm sure you've seen those.
Yeah,
the deal
we used to do those.
My goodness. We worked like donkeys for 2 and something years to pay that amount. I'm talking of 2001,
and you still have your daily business expenses. And
we have our daily, yes. Now
and
and at the same time, yes, you have acquired this company. So, one, when the deal is too good,
think twice.
And never, ever enter into an agreement with your eyes closed, and don't trust even a relative. I'm sorry. Sign your things first when somebody comes, so that you really know what are the, you know, ground rules. What are the ground rules? Because you see the intention. As we just thought, a stranger is very good to us.
But they are speaking nicely,
yes,
and making you feel like, oh, this is the
I'm
answer
make
that
you rich.
Our God has sent from heaven. You know?
Yes, yes. And
I always tell people also is good legal and advisory services may cost, may look expensive.
Yes.
On the face of it, and they are truly are.
Yeah.
But it is probably the best investment that you can make in a deal of this sort.
Absolutely.
Because they are going to look at all those fine prints and tell you, this one don't touch.
Yeah.
This one is good.
Yes.
This one you can turn it this other way. Propose this way. Let's structure it this way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. The other lesson was now among us, because we were friends and we had worked very well with each other.
Yes.
Cracks also started coming.
Because problems have come.
You know, me, I really didn't want, you know, now.
You guys are the ones who
guys are the ones.
insisted.
How come you have these shares? You know, of course, I'm the country director, you are whatever, so I have 33. You understand? We started agreeing on the shareholding after. We should have done that at the beginning, because somebody's saying, for me, it's sweat equity. For me, it is, you know, I mean, they feel that they're working harder, you know, I mean, marketing and in sales. I'm the one who used to bring. Do you know those kind of discussions? And then you look back, you're saying, my goodness, we trusted each other. We didn't, yes.
Wow.
And because it was those loose ends, those cracks, we managed to quickly a bridge,
yeah.
a bridge. But that was another important lesson. When you're becoming an entrepreneur, when you're running your own business, just have everything written and signed.
Written out and agreed. In advance.
In advance, because circumstances change, and then there's a loophole for somebody to come back and say, by the way, I think I need more.
And I think I agree with what you're saying, because we've also seen a lot of our partnerships, the joint businesses, a lot of them don't last too long. Some of them will actually collapse, like when things start going well, because they are not agreed. Like for instance, how do you share profits? How do you share losses? How do you share this? Yeah, so that's a very good point. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So now you've resolved that one. It's been painful.
Yeah, it's been painful.
But we also say, Wambui, no mistakes, no learning.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with that statement.
We learned a lot. Okay. And now we became wiser. You can't take me down. You can't. In business, no.
Not anymore.
I learned
once
good
beaten,
lessons,
twice shy. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so now we have a company to run.
Yes.
For two reasons. To pay this guy so that he doesn't,
Yes.
And he's given us maybe 2 years, because every quarter you're paying. But we have a company to run.
Yes.
And and then what do? I go back to Makerere University and I tell them I want to recruit young developers coming through this school, because now I know the kind of quality and so on that comes from. Yes. And therefore I get very young developers to come, and slowly we begin to manage our costs and so on. But now, selling and pushing this product, Navision,
to the market.
In 2002, around 2002, Microsoft comes. Microsoft buys, tech companies. By the way, it's buying and selling all the time up to today. Everybody is buying and selling. So you don't have a company and you're staying with it for I don't know how long. Obviously everybody
it's never for life.
It's never for life unless you're the Microsofts. But anyway, so Microsoft comes and buys Navision, the Danish product. That is the one we are selling. But it's not our propriety, it's not our IP. We've built IP on top of it. IP, intellectual property, our own solutions.
Yes.
Integrated with this business, but it is bought by Microsoft. I think they paid some 11 billion kroners, Danish kroners, because it was a Danish company. And all of a sudden, overnight, we are no longer a partner of this Danish company. We have now become a Microsoft partner.
You are mad. Oh, wow.
They absorb all the, anybody who was a Microsoft or Navision partner is now a Microsoft partner. Wow. And again, our life changes from there on. So at that point, Microsoft bought Navision. They were trying to get into the business solution space. Microsoft was very good in, obviously, the classic, the classic solutions like, Windows,
those packages.
Yeah, the packages and so on. But they didn't have a business solution, and therefore they couldn't compete with guys like SAP who have a nice ERP and so on. So they wanted to get in their space, and the only way was to buy this product. So they brought Navision, which was very good in Europe, and Axapta. They brought Great Plains. I know they remember those names of ERPs. They brought Solomon. And they put that all together, and they called it Microsoft Dynamics Business Solutions.
So now you're Microsoft.
Now we're Microsoft, and we are a partner of Microsoft. And now with Microsoft, there's so much muscle. If it is marketing, they're marketing the product everywhere. They are, and riding on that, we grew by leaps and bounds. Everybody is buying this solution. In Uganda, you land from the airport, we have customers all the way to Kampala. That's a long distance, Whether it's national medical stores, you're coming all the way. We have all the Danida projects because it was a Danish product initially.
Yes.
We have, a lot of customers, and we're doing very well now.
So now you've stopped riding on the Danish brand.
Yes.
Now you're riding on actually Microsoft,
yes.
Which is a global brand.
Yes.
Do you know there's someone who said that opportunity is a big problem
Yes.
that comes dressed like a wolf.
Uh-huh.
You know, this problem, big
Yes,
problem,
yes, yes.
but it's opportunity disguised.
Yes.
So all those things you are going through before,
Yeah.
it was a big opportunity
a
that
big-
was
yes.
yet to be unveiled.
Absolutely.
Now
And we're
it's
the owners of
getting
this company.
unveiled.
Yes.
Amazing.
Do you know, we grew, I ran that company up to 2008. And I'll tell you why I'm saying up to 2008. 2009, we grew. We became the leading Microsoft partner. You know, we're always flying to America to get awards and all these, you know, best in West, East and Southern Africa, best in East Africa, President's Club. I had to even come to Kenya now. We agreed with our Kenyan, whatever we need to recruit from Kenya.
Yes.
So we're getting Kenyans, getting them work permits to come and help me in Uganda. This is the chief technology officers and all that. This company is growing, you know, 40 people.
Fast.
and continuing. And we're talking about in the 2000s. And we have now analysts, we have developers, we're training them, we're investing. One of the things about running a company like, you know, a tech company, and I keep telling people, I used to pay my CTOs, they used to take home more salary than me. Because you need these guys.
The highly technically qualified people
Yes.
don't come cheap.
They don't come cheap. Customers don't understand. They call you. Okay, my thing is not working. You know, you come, you touch something. That's how they look at it. And then you give them a bill. Maybe it's just like Lego. And they're like, this thing is too expensive. You just came and touched my computer for 3 minutes and you fixed, you know. They don't understand what goes in the back end. You know, you've come and you looked at what is wrong, why your system is not working. You have solved something in the back end. You have developed, you have customized something, you've delivered. All this is being done, you're not seeing, and then you deliver. But the customers, you know, say, hey, you're charging me too much. But then when you don't respond,
That's another story.
that's another story. I mean, the system doesn't work for them.
But isn't
So we
it
really
about
grew.
knowing which button to press?
Exactly.
Because you have 100 buttons.
Exactly.
Me, I don't know which one to
Yes,
press.
yes.
You know
Even
which
that, yeah,
one.
it's knowledge. It's knowledge.
I mean, that's what I pay you for, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So there is probably customer education to be had here.
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
the button to touch.
Yeah.
So I know.
Just
Just pay
yeah,
me.
just pay, and I'll sort
Yeah.
out your life.
I'll sort you out.
So it was an interesting journey. You know, we employed, and you know, talent was an issue in terms of, you know, you
The
have
cost.
talent, you have the cost, yes. Utilization. It's not very easy to make profit. People imagine when you're deploying business solutions,
Yes.
because like if you're deploying an ERP like the one we're deploying, you estimate it'll take you maybe a year
To develop the
to
solution.
to do an analysis, you know, the gaps between what the customer wants and so on, install, train, and then do the entire, you know, whether it's data migration and so on. So, but then most projects, actually statistics show that only 23% of these technology projects are a success. And
20%.
success, 23%, around that. This is a Standish group. And if you know, any other, if you go to Gartner and all the others, they'll still give you similar.
Around the same.
Similar. And for a project to succeed, we're talking, was it delivered within budget,
Yes.
within scope, within time?
And time.
And most projects don't. So now you're on this side. You're not, you know, now you're on my side. I'm the tech, you know, I'm the one bringing you the solution.
Delivering. Yeah.
I have given you, you know, it'll take 1 year. But because of those 3 items and because of many problems, dependabilities, you know, external and so on, internal, change management, some people are sabotaging, people have left. It takes you 1.5 years. You think about the half year. You can't go back to the customer and say, hey, you know. So that's one thing people don't realize. You can start thinking you're going to make 30% profit, you end up with the 2%, 3% because of the nature of this whatever's here.
And it's coming much later.
And it's coming much later.
You're already out of time.
Yes, you're already out of time. But anyway, we did well. We did very well.
So in your case, you made some good profits
we
over
made
time.
Good profits. We were a profitable company. We did well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you are definitely not in Uganda now. So you must have moved from there at some point. Tell us when that happened.
Yes. So in 2008, my husband gets an opportunity to come back home. And one day tell me, oh, sweetheart, you know, I have this.
Journey
we
back.
need to go back. I'm like, what?
Journey back. And my life is just starting to look so sweet.
This is 3 children. Now I have 3 children.
Two more have come.
The 2 more have come.
Okay. You
know, and I have this business that is doing very well.
Extremely well. I'm like, I'm the boss.
I'm the boss, you know.
I can't believe it.
What are you talking about, you know? Do you remember the sacrifice I made when I was coming?
Yes.
Anyway, we have our moment and, you know, we discuss and we agree. Okay, you go back, I will follow. And in 2000, that was beginning of 2008. And by end of 2008, he came back. But at the end of 2008, I packed the children, done my, you know, how am I going to transition from this country? How will I run the company? And installed a new country manager and left to come to Nairobi.
Yes.
I still was in the company and I was working from the Kenya office, occasionally coming to just supervise, to oversee and make sure things are going on. But I had replaced myself.
So what was your new role now?
My new role was more of, I said regional.
Like a regional
because I would do Kenya, I do Kenya, Uganda.
Then
By
you
that
have
time,
a full-time country
yes,
manager.
Yes, and I have a full-time country manager, which was a big mistake.
Why?
And maybe a lesson, you know, and I don't think there is any right way I could, right way or wrong way of doing this. But that transition ended up being, I didn't manage it very well. In this sense, I got an external. I looked around. I looked at my people internally. Remember, I have all these CTOs.
Yeah,
it's a whole group of people. Yes, and we've worked with them for all these years. And I'm thinking, if I remove the head of tech, and I put him as a country manager, you know what will happen? You know,
who will do the tech?
Who will do the tech? And that was the wrong way of thinking about it. I could have thought maybe we can replace the tech and then upskill and equip this guy who knows everything inside out.
Yes.
To actually take this role. I mean, if I transitioned from education to he can also transition.
He can do it.
He can do it. And so after, really debating and all that, I got somebody from
an external hire
for a tech company. This person was not tech, but they were very good at managing wherever they were. And I put them in. And it was just a matter of time when the cracks
started showing.
Eventually, Microsoft came knocking. They wanted me to help them, or to work for them, to develop a company. To develop, we call it the channel business. Remember, they have they bought Navision. But our company was doing so well, and how can they build companies in East and Southern Africa to continue to sell the business solutions and to, accelerate?
Okay.
And I want to believe one of the reasons was because we had done so well with this company, which was a leading Microsoft partner now selling this solution, and they needed somebody now to take care of the whole East and Southern Africa.
Now from inside Microsoft.
Now remember, I'm out of the country.
Yes.
So it was an opportunity for me to sell my interests in this company and move on to the big tech.
So you sold out?
I sold out.
Wow.
Don't ask me how much.
Did you make?
Now
you are a rich girl.
I wanted to say, you never know who's listening.
But you got a good deal.
Yeah, it was not a bad deal.
Okay.
Yes.
So
So
did
my
you sell
interest-
to your partners, remember your internal partners,
Yeah.
or you sold to somebody
Yeah,
else?
so two things. My interests in Uganda, we actually did. There was a repeat of exactly what happened.
Oh.
The managers of the business
that time,
At that
they
time,
bought
the
you out.
Yes, they bought me out.
Amazing.
So that's
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
good legacy.
And it's
we're
good now.
still-
This time they
we're
bought a very
still
clean company.
Clean company doing
Yes.
and they're doing very well. They come
Wow.
to Nairobi to visit me. Up to now, we are in
Wonderful.
town.
Can
we
we
need
have
this
coffee?
advice. I'm actually,
Wow.
like a board member.
Consultant,
They
sort
consult
of.
me
Yes.
exactly at that
That's
level.
amazing.
Up to now, they're doing
Yes.
fantastic. Young men now with families and all that, and this is
And they are doing the
and they're
right
doing
thing.
the right thing.
Yes.
You know?
Amazing.
Yes, and then in Kenya and all, just to the other
Okay.
shareholders. Yeah.
So then you
And
joined
then I joined Microsoft.
Yeah.
The big tech.
Wow.
Now, this decision to join Microsoft, I did it for two reasons. You hear now my husband is leaving, has left. Now we are now in Kenya.
Yes.
And I'm having this, challenge. Number two, my children are now at an age where, remember I told you, as an entrepreneur, it's not as easy as people think.
It's complex.
It's complex. You're paying your employees more, you're plowing in back money, you're trying to grow, My children are now at an age where, they need, you're now beginning to think, school and my son was almost a teenager by the time we're coming back. He was 11, 12, preteen.
Yeah.
And the others are growing and you want them in good schools and so on.
Yes.
And when Microsoft presented
The offer.
the offer, it was a no-brainer.
It's those offers that you say they are hard to refuse.
Yeah, exactly. It was a no-brainer. And Microsoft also gives you a stake in the business if you're a full-time employee.
Wow.
They all, you get the stock.
It's part
and
of
so
the package.
It's part of the package. You get your
That's
full-time, and they're a good employer.
good. Yes.
And if you perform well every year,
It's
you
a
get very good
bonus and
bonus.
all.
Very good bonus that's paid out quarterly.
Wow.
And so I transitioned now to
answer
the big
is
tech.
yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did it go?
Microsoft was interesting. I did.
So now you're in charge of the region,
the region, East and Southern Africa.
East and South Africa.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a big one.
It's a big one.
Wow.
Actually, we keep
The
counting
scale.
with my husband, who has traveled more countries. I'm still ahead of him. Because of Microsoft, I increased my country coverage to, if I add what before even I joined Microsoft and what I did at Microsoft, 40 countries. 40 countries.
That's many.
You travel and travel and travel. Right now, me when I hear airports, because I still have to travel, I sort of get a shiver.
You don't want. You've traveled for
I
a
don't want.
lifetime.
It was my dream as a young girl. I want to be an air hostess because that was all I knew. To fly around,
it was a
become
big
air
thing.
hostess.
Now you don't want.
Yes, it was amazing experience. You grow, you travel. So what Microsoft does is they equip you to really be able to do your job.
Yes.
Yeah, and we did the job, and I got my targets every year. And it was
So
a good,
again,
good
it's
run.
management by objectives.
Yes.
So you do whatever
You
you,
do
want to
whatever,
do,
yeah,
but
yes.
at the end of the
At the
day,
end of the
give
day-
us these numbers.
Yes, give us these numbers.
Wow.
One of the interesting things was Haiti was in my, East and Southern Africa and Haiti. I'm like, why is Haiti on my
Where is
region?
it? Where is that?
Why is
Where
it?
is that country?
Until
in the
now
first
you
place?
go in and you check and you
Into
see,
the map.
these guys look like me, eh?
Oh, it's not too
the
bad.
conditions. Ideally it should be probably somebody in the Americas, isn't it?
Yes, but they
I
don't
think
want it.
they knew they couldn't make a lot of money from Haiti. Anyway, and I never had to visit Haiti, but what you've said is exactly that. At the beginning of the year, you have your KPIs.
You have 12 months.
12 months,
To
and this is the amount of money you're bringing in.
Yes.
We don't care whether it's from one country or 20 countries.
Up to you.
So you move up and down, and I discovered the countries that used to make my number. Kenya, Zimbabwe,
Focus on those
Namibia,
ones.
Malawi. Not Malawi, Zambia, Botswana, and you focus there and you have your whatever.
Wambui is the 80-20 rule.
Exactly.
All your energy is there.
Yeah, focus all your energy there.
Yeah.
Made my number every year.
Yeah. Wow. And you made your numbers.
And I made my numbers.
Year in, year out.
The issue then comes in.
What again? Life is looking so good.
Life is looking good. One, I am what they call an individual contributor.
Meaning what?
Yeah, this is your number, make it how you make it. There's no,
That's
you know.
up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you. As opposed to what I'm always used to doing.
Working with
people,
as
leading. CEO, and you're down here, you're yourself. Before, even a call coming in, those days we didn't have a lot of mobile, whatever, but, earlier, the secretary takes, oh yeah, so and so, you understand, you're sort of spoiled now. We're here, you're doing everything yourself. And so that was one of my problems, eventually. Number 2, family.
Because of travel.
Because of travel. My children. Mommy, you're leaving. The teenager didn't mind because, I was bringing gifts.
Yeah, he's independent.
You go, you bring an Xbox.
Yeah.
You're going, you're bringing, So the question was, how do I manage this?
But you just came back. You're leaving again.
Exactly. So it can really work on you as a mother. And it's a battle. What do I do? Do I leave this job? No. Do I, So some of the tactics I used was, I remember the first assignment when I landed, now when I joined, and my boss told me, we're having this thing, actually it was just here in Mombasa, in the Sarova. And I said, now my daughter, now like a last born, she's now 19. What am I going to do? So I said again, I go and ask. I asked my boss, I have this little girl. She's about 3 years. This is now 2009. She's just 3 years. I can't go to Mombasa for the whole week and leave her. Can I take her with me? Do you know? He says, yeah, of course you can. Made arrangements. I went to Mombasa with my house girl. And she was there, and in between my things, I was, with my daughter and so on.
Yes.
Again, ask. Because the worst that can happen is you'll be told no.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, you'll never know.
The answer will always be no.
I fly to the US for Microsoft meetings. We used to go everywhere. Turkey. These are now trainings, because Microsoft is excellent at training. There's no way I haven't gone. Czech Republic, Turkey, everywhere. I tell, my son is on vacation. I'm like, how do we work this out? I take him with me. He goes for a youth conference or something. I'm doing my whatever.
You're doing yours.
Come back and all that. So you have to just try and incorporate.
Work around the schedule.
Yes, work around the schedule because it's not a choice of it's either this or that.
Or that.
It's how do you make it work?
You can blend the two.
Yeah.
It may not be the perfect.
It may not be the
but
perfect.
But at least it redresses some of the issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then my husband has always been a support. And by the way, this time when we came back to Kenya, I said, next time you're moving, I am not following, okay? We said on a light note.
I'm not going with
I
you.
followed you all this, how,
Watch the space.
But he's really been a support. He's in tech, he understands. He also, especially that time, had a job that was global.
Yeah, so he's also traveling.
He was also traveling. Sometimes we used to joke because you're meeting almost at the airport. At the airport. But but at home. But we say,
no,
it's like,
I
what?
Understand.
And this is leaving each other lists because you're not seeing each other. I'm in, okay, take the, okay, I'm living in, and so on. It was a crazy time. Wow. But again, when you have energy and all that,
and you're supporting each other.
It works.
And looking for workarounds.
And exactly, looking for workarounds and so on.
Amazing.
Yes, and now our kids are adults. One is married.
Yeah, you just got one getting married.
Yes,
oh, wow,
and so on. Wow. So it was a good run at Microsoft. So after 5 years at Microsoft, I started getting restless.
Why again?
Because I'm an individual contributor, and it's the same thing over and over. You're going, you're selling, you're coming back. Remember, you're not deploying systems. You're a sales. Okay, I was a lead. What they call a lead in the American lead. Whatever. They don't have director.
It's sales lead.
So yeah, I was what they called Microsoft Business Solutions lead, leading the business these ERPs, but across the whole whatever, ERPs and CRMs and so on.
So are you feeling now that this is not my thing?
Exactly.
I want to do things differently.
This thing of working alone, and so on, yeah. Me. And if there's anything, obviously the way Microsoft is a whole big sales organization. Really. Everybody is just a salesperson. Okay, of course, unless I'm talking about these regional offices. And then you have the tech people who now go and help you, do the tech stuff, and so on, help the customer in the customer space. So I decided to resign.
what?
Yes.
Some people must think you are crazy.
Exactly. Some people
Resigning
thought-
from Microsoft?
Yes, some people thought I was crazy.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah,
Okay.
so put in my application to resign.
Wambui Mbesa continues. This is the executive table. Keep watching. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the executive table with me, Mary Wamai. Wambui Mbesa in the house, and the story continues, getting more and more interesting. Stay with us. Wambui, sasa you've decided Microsoft is no longer the place for me, although I'm thinking now this is the most fantastic employer anyone would ever want. How did that go?
So interesting story. And indeed, Microsoft was a very good employer. But like I said, it reached a point where I felt I was restless and I needed to move on. So I put in my resignation and, it goes to our main office in South Africa because East and Southern Africa used to report into South Africa. He writes to me and he tells me, Wambui, what's going on? Why are you leaving? What can we do? And then my boss in the UK also flies in actually.
Comes in
person.
Wow.
And he used to come often. So, and so he comes in and we have a conversation. What do you want? So I said, individual contributor, I need a team, there's so much to do and, probably we can structure or restructure the business solutions unit in a different way for this region. So they make some changes. Now I have somebody in Dubai who will make all the calls, and I have a team, somebody seated in Senegal, and so now it's a team that I'm sort of in charge in, and then they expand my territory. Now I have Mauritius. And Indian Ocean Islands. Before it was East and Southern Africa.
Yes.
Now I have Indian Ocean Islands, And so, okay, I'm set.
So you've got a new challenge.
I got a new challenge.
Yes.
Money was not my issue. Very interesting. They gave me a small bump because, of, the responsibility and so on, but actually that was not my issue. Anyway, so I decided to stay. Probably big mistake.
But I mean, Wambui, what you're telling us is that people can move the mountain for you if you're good. If you do a good job, the mountain will be moved for you.
The mountain will be moved for you. Absolutely.
That's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Now, this mountain moving also brought a bit of, I believe, maybe I don't know whether it's disquiet or whatever, because the environment never remained the same. Now with everybody else.
After the changes.
Yes, after the changes. It didn't take me 1 year before I decided.
The environment is no longer good for
I am moving. Because my initial, desire was still there. Let me give you an example of how, feeling out of control, and I'm trying to get my ecosystem of the channel of partners. Now I've created many partners in Kenya, all the way to the south, and they want, for example, marketing material.
Yes.
But for marketing material, I don't have the marketing material that I can create locally. It's coming from somewhere, maybe in the US.
Yes.
And it could be a very nice slogan, but it's a picture of a lady in the car, the hair is blowing, and it's a dog, And you take it to your partners and they're like,
what's this?
What is this? I can't use this in Kenya. It doesn't make sense, So it's those little things, yes, you're still continuing, but you still don't have control of driving the business the way.
Yes.
And remember now, I've been a CEO, I've been in charge before. I sort of felt I lost control.
Yeah.
Anyway, but because of what I sensed, I decided now I'm resigning.
You were uncomfortable.
Yes. And I keep saying, when you decide you're going, just go.
Go.
Because that initial thing never goes away. The one that made you want to go, before.
It remains.
Yeah, so I resigned now for real.
For real. Sometimes we make a mistake.
Yeah.
And almost immediately, you know that was the worst mistake I ever made.
Yes.
But sometimes our pride does not allow us to admit.
Yes.
That was
a wrong move.
Big mistake. So we go on and
go on.
And things go more wrong, and you are deepening the hole. So for you decided, let me accept.
Yes.
This thing
has not gone
to work.
Yes.
Let me accept.
And immediately I started looking for an exit strategy.
Wow.
So looking, networks.
But did you feel like it required a lot of courage and bravery?
It did.
To accept.
But anyway, so we decided, we parted ways very well. I said I'm not able to stay. We agreed on the reasons, and just at that time, maybe a month before I was actually leaving, I get a call from a headhunter. These those things where God's hand is somewhere. Because I get a call from a headhunter who tells me there's a European company. They want to get into Africa, and they're looking for you.
Wow. You specifically?
The headhunter is the one who helped them.
Is recommending.
Yeah, he's recommending me. And they tell me, you've run your own business, you've been at Microsoft, you've
You've seen it all.
You're the one starting from zero, a European company. So I'm like, the stars have aligned again. Thank you, Lord.
Sounds interesting. And you like
Sounds
building.
interesting. And I like building.
Yeah.
Again, started my office in Java on Wayaki Way. Recruited employee number 001. We keep laughing. I was with him the other day, Rashid. This is in 2015. Go and see lawyers, set up a company, build a structure, and so on and so forth.
They are not even incorporated?
They're not incorporated. They just wanted to come to Africa.
What?
A tech company. And so we agree on, we negotiated, and then I say, and you know what? I need a stake in this thing. We started the company. This company had their own IP in the financial space.
Yeah.
They had debt collection systems, loans everything in the financial services space. And so we started the company.
Wow. This is now
2015.
15.
Yes, 2015.
Yeah. And how did that go? I'm sure it was difficult.
It was difficult.
The starting.
With all the startups.
And you are starting the base in Kenya?
Yes, Kenya for the whole of East and Southern Africa.
East and South.
Yes,
okay.
For the whole of East and Southern Africa. So now you're recruiting, tech talent. At some point in this company, we even had more women than men. And everyone asked me, you have more women than men in a tech company? I say, yeah. I never really went around doing it, but there are some things I've learned along the way.
Yes.
That ensures that my pipeline has tech women and men.
It's a good
I'm talking about
balance.
the pipeline. Yes, a good balance, because I know what diversity means.
Now, when you're on diversity, would you like to comment about, earlier on you said your first interaction with tech, it was all men.
Yes.
So can you tell us now how that landscape is changing gradually, and we are getting more and more women, both of course courageous enough to go, and here we are not just talking about technology, we are talking about the whole STEM area, mathematics,
technology,
engineering, and that whole space.
Yes.
So would you tell us how you have seen now over the years that landscape change, and hopefully for the better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things have changed actually. as we speak, if you look at the latest statistics, women in tech in the workspace, it's about 27, 20-something%. Currently.
Okay.
It'll be in the 20s. If you look at US, maybe Europe, even Africa, it's changing a bit. So it's better. We are somewhere.
The number is growing.
The number
is growing.
Is
positive.
Yes.
Yeah.
The trend is positive, but I think it's too slow. Okay. We need to bridge this gap aggressively. Now, for me, it was a lot of things that used to happen. I kid you not. As the country director, when somebody called, I'm looking for Wambui. Now, remember I was in Uganda.
Yes.
And they don't know Wambui whether it's a man or a woman. I mean, because they don't know our names.
Yes.
The phone call would come through, and then the secretary would put the phone to me. And immediately they hear a lady's voice. You hear a hesitation. You know how you can just tell? It's a hesitation. Oh, we're looking for Mr. Wambui. I'm saying, this is she.
This is Mr. Wambui.
That's where we've come from. These days, even if you call a tech company and you find a lady, it's not this
unusual.
This is, what? 15, 20 years ago? Because I'm talking about 2003.
And now you're 2025.
And now it's 20 years. It's about 20 years.
20 years.
This is where we've come from, where somebody's like, oh, even when you go to do a demo, you're the one leading the team. They're looking for the young boys to answer the questions because there is doubt. There's a doubt whether you know what you're talking about. And you can sense it.
Did anyone ever ask you, when is the boss coming? Is the boss coming for the presentation?
For the presentation, I'm telling you, it was said in many ways before they realize you're the boss.
I'm the boss.
Yes.
Wow.
But I would go with the team, and they would ask questions. I'm the lead, and they would be asking these
the
junior guys the
male
questions. Yes.
Yeah.
And then they look at me, and I would answer. Or I'd say, okay, Robert, answer that one.
Yeah.
So the landscape is changing. You find so that's a statistic. Now, there's also you see this programming thing and the the brotherhood that is there. If you look at the recruitment and you look at the pipeline, why is it that you're not having enough women in STEM and in tech?
Yes.
There's something wrong with the pipeline as well. The girls are not being encouraged to study in the lower levels because in the right subjects. And there could be a lot of dynamics in there. We know, especially in the rural areas, maybe the girls missing school because of this and that, and somehow the boys, they run ahead, pick up and run ahead. But one of the things I've also seen is, and I've talked to a few because I do a lot of mentoring of young girls. They're not role models. Yeah. You keep looking and you're just seeing men.
Yes.
And where do you see the women? In other roles.
Yes.
The teachers,
more supportive,
supportive roles and all that. But I can say it is changing. And I'm seeing more and more women getting into the tech space. But I discovered the HR processes for recruiting in tech have a flaw.
They're skewed.
So every time somebody comes, even today, to my company to work, I always have coffee. I say coffee with the CEO. And the Java on Shell, they know me because sometimes they see me the whole day.
Outside the office.
Out of the office. They see me the whole day. I go to Shell, and people are coming. 20 minutes, hey, give me my bill at the end of the day. And I'm just getting to know people. 30 minutes. And I'm not interviewing because these guys have not yet gone through the process. I just want to know you. And one time, there was a brilliant person who was not in the finalists. Now where I come in and I was asked, where is so-and-so? I was told, no, they didn't make it. Why? And I knew why. Because when they came for my one-on-one, they were looking intoxicated. You could tell we were lala kwa bar. But a brilliant young man. That was a guy. Papers are wonderful. Very articulate, young man.
Yeah.
So I asked them, let me see the written exam, because they do an exam where either you're doing a coding or something. He had gotten 100%.
What?
But they kicked him out because of that. So I asked them why. Madam, he doesn't look clean or whatever. I said, bring him back. Do you know we ended up employing him? We cleaned him up. Actually, we gave him an advance. I said, I know where he's living. Nyuko and Dan is where they went. Now the guys in the office, get him a new whatever. We gave him money to go to Owino. It's like Kikomba Hapa. Moved him. Do you know he became one of the best employees? Customers were asking for him.
What?
Yes. You need to give people a chance. And he became sober. I, sent him somewhere to have counseling and all that.
That's why we talk a lot about one of the great attributes of a good leader is being empathetic. Because once you are empathetic, you understand, or you want to inquire, make inquiries and understand. Why is this 100% technically competent guy? Why is he behaving like this way on this other side? Is there a problem? And then you realize, wow, it's a problem we can solve.
Exactly.
And
he was talent I needed, absolutely.
Wow.
And some of these things, even my own background and the opportunity I was given, I'm always wanting to give people opportunity.
And you want to listen.
Yes, and I want to listen. Anyway, come to the girls. Checking how we are recruiting girls. The way we put the adverts out, they're skewed.
In what way?
It could be the photo you're putting there. Looking for a developer in this and that, and you're putting a man's photo. I'm not saying there's any problem. Maybe you could look for 2 people and put there.
So psychologically, that's a man's job.
Yes, that's a man's job. Have you ever seen them doing a secretary and putting a man? So it's psychological. So somebody sees and like,
so that's male.
Yes, that's male. And then the wording, must be able to travel, must be, it's just the wording. Now, somebody who is, hey, I have a 3-month-old, let me skip this one. You understand? So you have to, and so I discovered that in our own organization. And I keep asking, where is so-and-so? And now, I realized we are actually very balanced in my office. The other day, when I won the Women on Boards, that is a year ago, not the last one, the other one.
2020.
Yes, and and we're doing that, and I'm like, hi,
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. We actually had more women in the company than men.
Wow.
We're not big. We're about 30-something people. Tech guys, but we had more women than men. Now it is going back. We've just recruited a whole 6 cohort, But so it's a pipeline problem. No role models, and then all these skewed, equal pay.
The whole process.
Maybe rising through the ladder, the corporate ladder becomes a problem because I'm dropping off to go to maternity. I have all these other responsibilities. If you don't have an employer who is very empathetic and understands that they can still get value, for example, by giving you flexible hours to work, because women are very hardworking.
Yeah, that's great. So please summarize for us, based now on your experience and what you've told us, what are the few critical things that employers at all levels, and actually not just in tech, I think we see this generally in very many industries, especially when it comes to the higher levels of employment, what can they do to create a little bit, make it a little bit more easy for the women, to get into the key positions, whether in the executive management, and I guess it also happens at the board level. Because those are the same dynamics that play. So just give us a few tips on based on what you had to do at your company.
Women are shy. Let me talk about naturally. They're not as forthright in terms of I'm aggressive as men. So you find an opportunity comes for a promotion, and you're thinking, okay, I'm 70% qualified. No, let me not go for it.
I don't have 30%.
I don't have 30%.
Of the requirements.
Yeah, the gentleman has 50%.
40.
He just 40, and he just and he says, you know what, I can do this.
That's the job for me.
Exactly. So just actually overtly encouraging the women, you can do this, just apply for it.
Yes.
So that's one. And I know, I think it's Google or Microsoft, one of the companies actually even has coaching internally. They say, hey, there's this job that is available. If you need coaching on the side, it's for the women. You know, how will you answer the questions? And so, seriously.
Before the interview?
Before the interview, yes. Just coaching in terms of how to present yourself, whatever. And so they help them also to, you know, so that they give you the opportunity to actually go for those jobs.
To prepare adequately.
Prepare, train, prepare. So that is one of them. The other one is this, you know, this unconscious bias we keep talking about. It's actually a bias, and it's there. Not just, it's not for male, even female, we have unconscious bias. So again, ensuring that you put policies in place, and also you train people and all that, especially the managers who are overseeing, to understand this unconscious bias, watch out for this and that, and just how to ensure that you're not caught in that, you know, being, you know, bias. And then the competence and the confidence. You tell the girls, you know these things, you're competent. Breathe in, breathe out.
I can do this.
I can do this. Talk to yourself.
Yes.
and then you know, go for it. So really, there's no magic. Just get out of your head. By getting out of your head, you know, we've been told we have all these things now. You know, there's unconscious bias. There's a glass ceiling I have to break.
Yes.
There is, you know, there are so many things. You know,
it's too hard.
It's too hard.
It's
Let me
too
just.
hard.
So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes there's a voice in your head.
Yes.
So I say, get out of your head.
Yes, and just go
breathe
for
in,
it.
breathe out. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So how many years later? Now that's 2015.
Yes, 10 years.
How is it going?
10 years is going very well. In between, I've had 2 buyouts. So the owners on the other side are listed on the stock market in Greece.
So that's a big one.
Athens Stock Exchange. They're the first guys who we started the company with. And then somewhere after year 7, they are bought by a Danish company. So I'm back to the Danes. You know, I started with the Danes. And then in 2023, we had another buyout.
You started with the incorporation of the company with nothing.
Yeah,
in Kenya.
Yes.
How big is the company now? How many, so many years later?
Yeah.
Like, have you spread your wings in the region?
Yes, we have. And it's a beautiful story. Now we have clients in Zambia, we have clients in Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya. So basically it's the whole region. Yes. We have customers in there. And from an employment point of view, we employ business analysts, you know, engineers.
How many employees do you have? Like
right now we're at around 30.
30.
Yes, 30.
Wonderful, and it's growing.
Yeah, and it's growing, and it's lean, and you know, we cover the whole.
Very efficient.
Yes.
Operation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, now I'll ask you a very interesting, maybe vague question.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you consider yourself successful?
Okay, I like the fact that you said vague question. So I'll answer vaguely, but not vaguely. I'll be direct.
Yeah.
1, I think I've lived a good life.
Good. Tell us more.
2, yes, I think I am successful. And success for me is not money. It's okay, it followed.
You are where I wanted you now. I wanted you to define success in your own words, from your own lenses.
From my own lenses.
How do you define success? Because we all have to define what success looks like.
Absolutely.
On our own.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not like a one-size cut for everyone.
Yes,
nah.
yes.
Tell us from your own lenses.
From my own lenses. The first thing for me is, because I didn't have a family, for me success is family.
Having a good family.
Having a good family.
Wow.
I have my husband, we've been married 31 years. 31. We have children.
Wow.
They are, you know, grown-ups, all of them.
They are going out now.
They are going out.
One is married.
Yes. there's something called a balanced vision. There's a vision of now and where I want to be 10 years
From now.
from now. Where I want to be 10 years from now, in my opinion, should not steal away from where I am now.
Yes.
So there's a vision from now and 10.
Yes.
So I can work so hard to try and get my 5-year, 10-year vision, and I forget I have to watch my health.
Yes.
I need my family.
Yes.
I need. You understand what I mean?
And
yeah.
and I'm
So,
happy.
and I'm happy. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I'm doing things that make me happy
Yeah,
also.
exactly.
In the whole mix of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, because I've been doing something that I love and enjoy, and this is just, running companies, getting a challenge and going for it,
Yes.
rallying all these developers and running these 10 companies and all that. The money followed,
Yes.
but it was not. Initially, when I was leaving teaching, I think I was trying to run away from poverty. It's good to say the truth. Because now I was like, poverty is just one step ahead.
Yes.
I mean, because I don't have family, I don't have, But now, as you move along, you acquire your assets along the way. And yes, so for me, it is those things that matter. Because at the end of the day, when I'm out of here, when you expire and you're gone,
Yeah.
nobody will remember you made all this money.
You drove this big
You
car.
drove the big car.
You lived in a big house somewhere.
Yes. Your legacy lives through the people you've touched, the children, I mean, so for me, yes. So yes, I think I have been successful.
Okay. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
And we also told that we focus on finding our purpose and living our purpose, and the money will follow. So
Yeah.
you seem to be a believer in that concept.
I am.
Because I believe when you started that school in Diani,
Yes.
there was no money for
No,
you.
no,
You
no, no, no,
actually
no.
didn't know whether you'd be paid.
No. My
But
relatives were
you
worried.
followed your passion and
Yes.
you followed your purpose. And eventually the money came.
The money came. One of the things the way I take the position I have in life, now I'm a CEO of a company, I have resources, I can
Yes.
pay school fees here, do this and that, is a platform. We are all given a platform.
Yeah.
Mine happens to be here. I'm running Relational FS and, it's a platform for me to actually do the purpose,
Yes.
impact the
Yeah,
world,
impact others.
impact others, build others, and really, for me, that's the legacy you leave behind. That's how I see it, yeah.
Yeah. So you tell us, you've talked about legacy. How are you building your own legacy now? What are you doing to be remembered? What are you doing?
Yeah. So mine will go into an interesting trajectory. There's God.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe in God. I'm what they call born again. Because I told you when I was in Form 4.
Yeah.
I
You
asked
told us.
Jesus to just help me. This life is so difficult.
It's hard. You need a
it's
companion
hard. Yes, I need a
who will
companion.
never let you down.
So, I have this belief that it is important to instill the love for God in the hearts and minds of the next generation,
Yes.
because everything holds together, even the work that we do.
Yes.
God is a creator himself.
Yes.
He's very creative. And he told Adam, go and multiply and so on and so
fill
forth.
the earth.
Yeah, so everybody must multiply. And in fact, the guys who were given the talents, the one who refused to go and multiply, he was thrown into the... So there's no listening. So it's not just the spiritual. Everything is one big, there's no compartments.
Yes.
Mary, hardworking, but in all that,
There are so
God
many
is
facets.
there. There are so many facets. So for me, my legacy, I wanted to be somebody who pushed the God-led agenda of living a holistic life.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And holistic doesn't mean laziness. Actually, there was a time I was interviewing, for a position, and this girl came. It was a secretarial position.
Yeah.
And she came and she said she needs to go for. She can't work between 12:30 and 2:30 because she goes for prayers. I told her, so how are you going to do this job? Because actually, that's even the time that we really need.
People come in, people go out, phones are ringing.
Yes, and to cut the long story short, she didn't get the job.
Yeah.
She was shocked. You're a Christian and I said, you're missing the point. We are the ones who are supposed to be excellent.
Yeah.
And there's no, what you call mediocrity.
And we must integrate everything into everything else.
Everything else, exactly.
Because you can't tell the client, I can't see you because I'm going for prayers.
Yes, exactly.
And you've met.
Exactly.
Yeah. They are there.
Yes. So I know, but honestly, that's how I see it in my lens.
Yes.
And that's a legacy.
Yeah.
Because that lives on. And, we've tried to impart it on our children and everybody we meet. Everybody we help because we pay a lot of school fees for, children here and there and involved in scholarships.
Yeah.
Yes. And, so scholarships. So we do a lot of that. And my husband and I are in the Logos Scholarship Fund. And every time these kids close the school, we actually go and mentor them.
Oh, wonderful.
And we call it SPARK. So you're mentoring them. The S is for spiritual. And then PR anyway. And then academic is there. The A is academic. Community, how you integrate community. SPARK with a C at the end.
With a C, for community.
So it's holistic. And I think that is what should also be in society when you're working and so on. You must be working for a greater good.
Yeah.
Because you will leave. I mean, you just need, what they say, CG what by what?
Yeah. 6 by 6.
6 by 6. So,
people don't like hearing this. You guys don't like hearing this.
Yes. Yeah. So it's really what you've made, what you've passed on to the previous generation. And the last point there. The other day we were looking at all the photos. So my kids were like, because we're here for the wedding, my kids were like, oh yeah, so this is grandpa. They're all grown up, so, showing. I have photos of my father, which I got eventually, and his father, and so on. And on my father's side, like that.
Family tree up to some point.
Up to some point. And they say, honestly, you will only be remembered, and I'm sorry if I'm, you'll only be remembered up to the grandfather or grandmother.
Yes.
Beyond that, nobody even remembers.
Maybe once in a while they might hear if you are lucky.
Once in a while they might.
There was someone called Wambui.
Yes. Nobody even comes to your grave anymore. But that's life. So it's just how do you pass on the baton, impact this generation, and ensure that they impact the next
generation.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll never know if my children are successful until I see how they raise their own children. That's when you know whether you've passed on the baton.
And what they do to support others, not necessarily their children.
Yes,
but
exactly.
People in their family. How they support the community and acts of, the acts of kindness.
Yeah, exactly.
That they do to others and all that.
That's when you know how you've passed on. Yeah, so.
My research also tells me that you mentor women under the Women on Boards network. Tell me about that and why you do it and how it's going.
Women on Boards. Catherine Musakali. Do you know how I got Women on Boards?
No. Tell me.
When I was doing my 6-month stint wherever I was, I went to see Cecily Karaoke. That time she was a former, she's a former CS.
The former CS, I remember.
So yes. She was a fantastic lady.
Yeah, previously.
And she was a PS in, was it health or agriculture?
I think it was health.
I think it was health.
Yeah.
2015. But I did my MBA with Cecily.
So you knew her before?
So I knew her before. And our paths kept crossing.
The power of networks.
The power of networks. And should I say, by the way, I was the best student that year.
But do I say?
And I remember I was very pregnant with my last born. And
wow.
when you know, they give you certificates, and then now they say who the the best students
Yes.
is. And then they
Yeah.
call Wambui Mbesa. And I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, again, this thing. Anyway, and I walk in and everybody's like, hey, she had help. You can see her hormones.
She was not alone.
She was not alone. She had help.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's a good joke.
By the way. So I go to see Cicely and I'm like, Cicely, I need advice. No. After we finish everything we talk, she's like, Wambui, have you heard of the Women on Boards Network? It had just started, I think it was maybe the second year. I said, no, I haven't heard of it. Go and look for Catherine Musakali. And she gave me the number.
Her number?
Yes. And I went and I called Catherine and showed me, yeah, you can join.
Wow.
So my time in Women on Boards is almost the same time as when it started,
Yeah, she told us she started around 2015.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was around that time. This was probably 2015. Yeah. I think they started end of 2014, 2015.
2015. Around
Yes.
there.
So I have benefited so much from Women on Boards.
Wow.
I have, they took us through this 10-week training, even doing mock board, they give you papers to go and read, then you come and you sit, And they've really empowered us. And you have to give back. You have to give forward.
Wow.
So that's what I do. So I mentor. I know you also do.
Yeah, I do.
Have a good time.
Do.
It's not
It's
a walk in the
amazing.
park in the sense that, it's a sacrifice, but it's worth it because other people sacrificed for me.
One of the mantras I live with is the question of when you learn, you teach others.
Yes.
When you get, you give others. And that's, I guess, what you're doing.
Yes.
Teaching others and giving
And
what you have gotten.
Yes.
Scholarships and other support and all that.
Absolutely.
And it's very satisfying. Yeah, so...
And those are the reasons why you also get to be called in other boards because...
Yes. Exactly. You have demonstrated.
And so on.
And what I also believe is that it all comes back to you.
It does.
When you give in a very big way.
Yes.
Maybe sometimes indirectly.
Yeah. It does.
And now another question for you. Tell us about the school of Maastricht.
Maastricht
you know where I am from.
Yes.
Tell us about it. What did you go to do there?
Yes.
And why did you go there?
Yes. So this is where actually I was with Cicely.
Yes. Oh, that was the MBA?
Yes, that was the MBA.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
What did you do the MBA?
Personally, I did strategic management.
Strategic management.
Yeah, strategic management.
Is there any reason why you chose to do the MBA in strategic management?
Yes. It was
what were you going through?
completely deliberate.
Tell us.
Yeah. Now let me explain. Maastricht Business School has a program with SME. You've heard of the SME?
Yes.
Yes. So sometimes you're here, sometimes you're in Tanzania.
It's an exchange program?
No. They use SME to teach the MBA.
To do their programs.
So, to do their program. So they fly in, so they would fly in from Netherlands, and sometimes we would have to go even to Tanzania because SME headquartered in Tanzania. So the lecturers, would...
they were rotating.
Yeah, rotating and so on.
Yes.
But we had just bought a company.
Yes.
In 2002, and I realized, oh my God, I really need to
up my game.
That's when I enrolled.
Wow.
And I think that's why I was the best student. Everything we were learning, I was putting in my company.
Wow.
Okay, now it's HR.
Yes.
Do this. I remember giving okay guys, it's anonymous. We have to do an HR, feedback from employees,
Yes.
Like feedback from employees. Anyway, but we had to do a paper. We had to do, practically go and something I would not look for. You know how you look for other companies? Can I collect data? I was doing it on
go to yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know how?
Wow.
Everything we did. Strategy for your company.
Applied.
Fungia, everybody, we're doing strategy. And we do the strategy, what our strengths, our weaknesses, our threats are, and I would apply to the company. This is the reason we became excellent with Microsoft, by the way.
Yes.
We went to the US so many times. Every year would go in. We're WECA Partner of the Year. And then there's something called the President's Club that used to only recognize the top partners of Microsoft by excellence, by revenue and all that. Not that we're making the most revenue, because, I mean, you can't compare our companies with the European companies.
Yeah.
But we're growing in hundreds of percentage. You know, this time you made, I don't know how many dollars. Now you're making double the amount, even though in terms of absolute value, maybe it wasn't that. You understand, eh? We're called twice. Presidents, you're going to meet UCO, the top Microsoft, you know. So everything I would do, this is why I went to do my MBA. It was completely intentional.
Very intentional. Based on your stage of...
Based on my stage of where I was, what I was grappling with.
Yeah. That's
you know,
amazing.
I was going to school, I was getting a baby, I was hustling to get
so many
RFPs
balls in the air.
and jobs to do, very big job, big whatevers,
Yeah.
And so that, you know, so there are many challenges in that sense, but yes. And there's one challenge I need to tell you, because we talked, I think we glossed over it, and you asked about maybe the challenges, you know, in STEM and so on. I won an award for a big job, and I went to get my award letter.
Yes.
And this guy looks at me and he says, you know, I have the award letter, but I'll give you over the weekend. Weekend there, and I give you the award.
What? But it's here.
These are the things that ladies in STEM, honestly, because he wouldn't have done that if it was a man.
If it was a man.
Yes. And I was so naive and young, and I remember just, because I'd not even anticipated it.
You got a shock.
I got a shock, and the only thing I could tell him is, but I'm married. And he told me, even me, I'm married.
What's the big deal?
I mean, in other words, what's the big deal?
What?
Mary, to cut the whole story short.
You lost it?
I lost it. I had to leave. And I was crying. You know?
You felt violated.
I felt violated. How can, I mean, I've won this thing. Do you know this thing eventually was retendered and I lost it? Of course, I couldn't tell anybody. But after that, nobody could, I am prepared. And I tell guys, anticipate these questions, they will come.
Yeah.
If somebody tells you, seriously, sometimes, okay, they might tell me this. You look in the face.
Yeah.
And you tell them, you know what, this is wrong. And if this is how it's going to go, okay, maybe I escalate. You're not the boss. And they will fear, and they will give you that thing.
Yeah.
And there are many other such stories. Just maybe to wrap that up, because I wanted to say a challenge. The statistics show that 77% or so of women in technology actually report that they have faced sexism or
and
those
harassment
kind of remarks of one way or another. Or another.
That's high.
Yeah, it's high.
Wow. We have discussed a lot about integrity in several fora. And one of the complaints that we get is people say, when I become a person of integrity, I lose everything. I lose my job. I lose my friends. I lose my community. I lose my, no one wants to talk to. The cost is too high.
Yes.
What do you want to say about that in the context of doing business or career growth, depending on what people are doing?
You know, I think integrity equates to a lot of things. And as everybody always says, integrity is not what I tell you, what you see me do, but it's those things that happen when nobody is watching
or listening.
Yes. So if you go to the workplace and you're an employee, and I tell this always to my employees, what does integrity look like? One, I'm not all over you. Why did you come late? In fact, I don't care what time employees come to work. Because I expect you to be self-disciplined and self-led. I tell them you must lead yourself. But I look at your output and so on. The second thing is, the values that you have. Because when I look at integrity, you know, sometimes when you list down the values, I know integrity comes in there. But I like to look at it this way. My values are in another way. Number one, make it happen. By making it happen, meaning do what you're supposed to do. So when an employee comes to me and tells me, you know, I have this, you know, there's this, I can't do this, I'm like, go and make it happen. Of course, I expect you to make it happen with integrity. You're not cutting corners. Go and make it happen. If you make it happen and you make it happen the right way, that's integrity.
Yeah.
Number two, I tell them, be the link. What does be the link mean? Life is not about you. The person next to you, how can you be the link? Whether it's a team member and all that, are you helping them to achieve the goal so that the company can achieve
to become better?
Yeah, better as an individual, and the company achieves this goal. To me, that's how integrity looks like.
Yeah.
Not to see you suffering, I'm saying, oh, good for her. Phew, now I'm going to get the promotion. You see, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why when somebody asks me, what are your values? I don't say integrity, hard work, da-da-da-da. I've just said all those things in another way.
Be kind to others.
Be kind to others. Be the link.
And supportive.
Yes, you cannot do life alone.
Yeah.
Everybody is linked, and even at the place of work is the same.
That's wonderful.
Number three, I just have probably about 5. Number 3 is your own personal growth. If you're not improving yourself, I have a problem with your integrity. I'll tell you why. The world is changing every day. If I'm going to serve my customer and I have the knowledge of yesterday and I don't know, guys are coming, you know, and I'm still selling the software I used to sell 20 years ago, there's a problem, right? What are we talking about now? Digital platforms, artificial intelligence, da-da-da-da. Integrity is making sure that I am also ahead of the curve so that
equipping myself with the
so I can serve
knowledge.
My customer better. And by the way, equipping myself, these days I tell my team, you know, you're the ones equipping, and then I learn from you, you know, reverse peer, because they are ahead of me.
Do the hard work.
Yeah, do the hard work. Tell me what is the latest trend.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, you know, your own learning. The 4th one is customer success.
Yeah.
For me, if our customers are not succeeding,
what are we doing?
What are we doing? Customer is crying every day, you know.
We have failed.
Yes. For me, yeah, something is wrong.
Wow. Wow.
And then the final piece, I always say, because we're in technology,
yes,
fuel creativity. Fuel creativity for yourself. Why is that integrity? You're here, you're young. We go into a meeting, you're not contributing, you're not reading. We have given you all these platforms. Go and read. Because if this company is not growing, it's not my responsibility. It is all of you down there. So for me, those 5 things sum up. It's actions that you must do, then feed into whether you have integrity or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know obviously integrity is about, you know, all these other things, you know, fairness, get your business. I have lost a lot of business, by the way. Your mama named Kali. They see, I've gone through all those things. You put in your whatever, and then they call you. You didn't bring in your certificate of incorporation. Really? But having done business in the region widely, I say Kenya is a bit difficult.
Yeah, but what you are saying is that we must define our minimum non-negotiables.
Yes.
And say,
yeah,
I'm not going there.
I'm not crossing this line. Yes, no.
My red line is here.
Yes, yes.
I don't remember who told us about the red line.
Yeah, yeah.
This is mine.
Yes. Yeah, and no is a good word. No is not a bad word.
Yeah,
in
someone
every
told
sense.
Us, no is next one. If I miss this one,
you'll get the next one.
I mean, after you lost that one for Uganda, after you got several more.
Oh my goodness,
nice
we got good contracts.
Oh, it's not lost. Now, I'm asking this question on behalf of my viewers, especially my TikTok viewers. I know they will ask.
Yes.
What do I have to do to look as good as you're looking today. After so many years of working and doing business, please tell us.
Oh, thank you.
Look good.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much.
It is.
Get the right partner in every sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, there's a lot of this, but I'm talking about husband. Because sometimes at the home front, that is one of the potential
And if you're a man, the wife.
And if you're a man, the wife. That's why I said get a right partner.
Yeah.
It does help. Of course, life happens and things might not, work out. But yeah, for me, that worked out. And then in business, get the right partners as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even in business. If you get the wrong partner, you've heard in the story that I've told. I mean, it can go wrong.
Yes.
And it can go very wrong.
Yes.
And then last but not least, there's a concept I have. I call it the Me Limited concept.
Yes.
The Me Limited concept, in Kiswahili I say Mimi Limited, says that you are the CEO of Me Limited.
Of your life.
This is your life. You're the CEO of your life. And there's no one who's going to do strategy for your life, get the right board members for your life, and so on and so forth. The people who surround you,
It's you.
it's you. So Me Limited, just make sure you take that company and make sure it succeeds. If you need to kick out board members,
Kick them out.
kick them out. And every season has board members for it, meaning people around your life. Me Limited is very important. And at the end of the day, for me, the chairman of Me Limited, was Wambui, and I always end by saying this, is God himself.
Yes.
Because I can do everything
Yeah.
through Christ who strengthens me.
Oh,
Yes.
so nice. Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, Wambui, thank you so much for sharing all that knowledge, your
Thank you.
experiences, some very personal. We
Yes.
really appreciate, and I'm sure that on behalf of our viewers, they will learn a lot from all the experiences, looking at it from different perspectives, because that is why we come to the executive table. You know,
Yes.
to put everything on the table. You pick what will help you and learn from the experiences of others. We
Yes.
always say that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So some
Absolutely.
people have gone through experiences and we learn from them. So can you give us a parting shot?
Okay.
The last word.
Okay, so the last word. You know what? You do you. I hear young people saying that, and my own children telling that, Mom, you do you. So go and do you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for watching. This has been Wambui Mbesa on the executive table with Mary Wamai. We are glad you are with us, and we'll continue bringing more guests who will tell us very many different perspectives about life and all. We are here for you. Keep the comments, questions, clarifications coming. I am looking at all of them, and we will address them in various ways, either through other guests or through direct answers or whatever. We'll do what we need to do for you. Thank you very much.